What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 4DF. Chapter 76 Xiaoduolong vs Aerodactyl. Beat the examiner. Most powerful. That's not necessary. It's up to you, Xiaoduolong. Luo Ling throws the Pokeball, and Doran Messiah appears on the battlefield. On the examiner's side, before he played, the previous inspection data of Doran Messiah had been sent to his mobile phone. According to the rules, a Pokemon ready to fight is selected. It turned out to be a quasi-god, but unfortunately it hasn't evolved yet. In that case, I'll go with Aerodactyl. With Pokeball Shell Smash, an Aerodactyl, slightly larger than Doran Messiah, appeared on the field. Luo Ling opened the data eye and obtained the information. Open black lens bracket Aerodactyl rock flying close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket level 43 close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket character cautious close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket ability. Hard head will not be affected by the backlash effect of your own moves. Close black lens bracket. Individual values. HP 30, physical attack 29, special attack 24, physical defense 26, special defense 25, speed 28. Open black lens bracket skills. Ancient power, wing attack, rock slide, supersonic, crunch, sandstorm, giga impact, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket qualification. Quasi-elite close black lens bracket. The Aerodactyl used by the examiner happens to be exactly the same as the Doran Messiah grade. When fighting at the same level, in terms of attributes, neither side has any advantages or disadvantages, and the school has indeed achieved as fair a fight as possible. However, Aerodactyl is a Pokemon with only one order, but the first order is the final form, and it is a very pure speed attacker. The speed species strength is as high as 130, which belongs to the high-speed echelon, and the physical attack of 105 is also medium-high. Little dragons that have not evolved must be handled with caution. Little Duolong, the Aerodactyl on the opposite side is tricky, be prepared. Doran Messiah frowned slightly, looking at Aerodactyl who called twice from behind him, his gaze was firm. Although it is usually relatively bad, once it is time to fight, Doran Messiah is still very serious. What's more, since seeing Dratini evolve, only one of the three little ones has not yet evolved, so he was stimulated. Under Luo Ling's Pua, the subsequent training has become much more active. Aerodactyl, activate your inner ancient power, and swoop down on your enemies. Quote. Aerodactyl let out a long cry, a faint layer of light glowed all over his body, and a force from ancient times swept across his body in an instant, and then rushed straight towards Doran Messiah. Luo Ling immediately understood that the other party just wanted to test the strength of the 287 Dragon Messiah, so he took advantage of the move of ancient power to improve the comprehensive ability of Aerodactyl and obtain the increase of Primal's power. But it's a pity that Luo Ling has trained a lot for Duolong Mejia in the past months since it didn't show up badly, and the effect is good. The current Duolong Mejia is no longer what it used to be. Little Duolong, don't let rival look down on you. Use double team, dodge the opponent's attack, and then continue to enter the stealth contest condition. Just when Aerodactyl was about to hit Doran Messiah, the latter suddenly emitted several clones, forming a circle around Aerodactyl. Even with the blessing of Primal's power, Aerodactyl can't find a real attack target now, so he can only look around in a daze, trying to find the real Doran Messiah from so many clones. Don't care about the avatar, just attack anyone and crack the avatar. The examiner yelled, alerting Aerodactyl. The latter regained his spirits and rushed straight to one of the clones in front of him. Puff. With so many avatars, if you choose one at random, there is a high probability that you will miss nothing, but at the same time, the other avatars will also disappear one after another. Fortunately, Luo Ling had already expected this. Doran Messiah used his own invisibility feature to disappear from everyone's sight. Luo Ling, however, relied on his own power to control the dragon, and was able to get in touch with Duolong Mejia, and the tacit understanding between the two parties was perfect, and he could feel that Duolong Mejia was at the 3 o'clock direction. Having lost his target, Aerodactyl looked serious and kept looking for the invisible Doran Messiah, appearing a little flustered. Stop it, calm down. The examiner shouted and called Aerodactyl back in front of him so that he would not continue to search for the invisible Doran Messiah. Relax a bit, it's just stealth, use ultrasonic waves on the whole field, attack indiscriminately. After receiving the instruction, Aerodactyl was flying on the edge of the playing field. He took a deep breath, and the moment he opened his mouth again, the ultrasonic waves that resounded throughout the field formed ripples one after another, gradually expanding and spreading away from Aerodactyl. Stealth only affects sight, but it cannot avoid being disturbed by sound like offensive methods. Doran Messiah covered his ears with his cute little hands, frowning slightly. It was disturbed by the ultrasonic wave, and its figure reappeared in front of the ground. Great opportunity, fly over quickly and use wing attack. Aerodactyl shook its wings, and in the next second it had arrived in front of Doran Messiah. The latter is affected by supersonic, and the brain is still temporarily in a chaotic contest condition. Even though Luo Ling has made it re-enter the stealth contest condition, it is still a step too late. Aerodactyl's rock-hard wings successfully hit Doran Messiah's waist, knocking him to the ground. After rolling a few times on the ground, Doran Messiah's chaotic contest condition was lifted instead. Xiaoduolong, can you still hold on? While speaking, Luo Ling has already endowed the body of Doran Messia with the power of controlling the dragon. After being bathed in the power of the dragon, the power of Duolong Maya was strengthened, and after the chaos was resolved, he became full of energy. Very good. Use agility under the contest condition of stealth, and gradually approach the opponent. As soon as the words fell, Doran Messia disappeared from sight again. The instructor responded calmly. Aerodactyl, use your cautious character and don't attack lightly. Since the opponent uses the special ability of invisibility, then we will also be invisible together. Change the scene environment with Sandstorm. As Aerodactyl roared towards soaring in the sky, his whole body emitted a brown light, and then, the scene environment changed suddenly, and Aerodactyl continued to rotate itself. Dust gradually rose in the air. It turns out that what the examiner said about being invisible together does not mean that Aerodactyl really has the ability to be invisible. But after changing the environment of the scene, under the action of the sandstorm, the sight of Duolong Maya was affected. Even if it is in an invisible contest condition, changing the scene environment does not directly affect the opponent's Pokémon, but affects the sight of all Pokémon except Aerodactyl. Unless it has the ability to move freely in the sandstorm environment. Otherwise, even if it is doubles, the partner will be implicated. In addition to the sight is affected. In sandstorm weather, the hit rate of the battle will decrease, and the dodge rate of Pokémon will increase to a certain extent. The key point is to see if you can adapt to the weather of sandstorms. Doran Messia, who was still approaching Aerodactyl under the stealth contest condition, could only be forced to retreat. Aerodactyl is back at home again. Good job. Blocking the field with rock seals it all up, creating a field that works in our favor. In this way, before the sandstorm was over, Aerodactyl summoned a large number of rocks, which randomly landed on the field, dividing the field into several areas. The sandstorm will not last too long. But after the end, the scene has already been filled with a large number of rocks. If it is aimed at Pokémon that does not have the ability to fly, the speed will be greatly affected when acting on such a field. At this moment, Aerodactyl saw that Doran Messia was accidentally hit by the tail by the rocks that fell randomly before, and he couldn't break free for the time being. Big chance. Aerodactyl, use Dragon Claw to solve rival. At the order of the examiner, after a short stockpile, Aerodactyl glides upwards with the boost speed brought by its strong leg strength, and then rushes directly to Doran Messia on the ground with heavy acceleration from the air. Boom. Until Aerodactyl successfully hit Doran Messia, but suddenly found something wrong at EC. This doesn't seem to be the real Doran Messia itself, it's a substitute. At this moment, the corners of Luo Ling's mouth turned up slightly, and he shouted, "Now, use Dragon Tail to attack the base of Aerodactyl's wings." Bump. With a ferocious roar, Doran Messia suddenly appeared out of nowhere on Aerodactyl's back, and the power of Dragon Tail slammed into the place where the root of Aerodactyl's wing connected to the back. At this moment, Aerodactyl felt abnormal pain. Ah. How come? The examiner also looked surprised. Come back quickly, Aerodactyl. He didn't expect that he would fall into the trap. At the moment when Aerodactyl raised a sandstorm and summoned rock to seal the field, Luo Ling decided to use a small plan. He pretended to be hit by the falling rock and was at a disadvantage, but in fact, Doran Messia had already used the substitute move to dodge and entered the invisible contest condition. After Aerodactyl successfully hits the substitute, it suddenly attacks from behind and hits the opponent's wing. As long as Aerodactyl's wings are injured, its flying speed will be greatly reduced. This allows Doran Messia to have an absolute advantage in terms of speed. As the saying goes, martial arts in the world can only be done quickly. As long as the speed is enough, this battle can be fought in the end. Aerodactyl's wing was injured, the root of the left wing was red, and he could not continue to fly in the air. Just when the opponent was about to distance himself from Doran Messia, Luo Ling quickly said, "Little Doran, use Hex's ability to attack Aerodactyl's other wing." Doran Messia responded, and the moment he disappeared on the spot, he appeared on the back of Aerodactyl again. When the root of Aerodactyl's other wing was also hit, it lost its ability to fly and could only retreat continuously through the ground. But under the influence of Hex, Aerodactyl, who was already in status condition, damaged wings, also counted in reality, suffered double pursuit at this moment. Suffered 2 severe injuries in a row, even Aerodactyl couldn't withstand such a high amount of damage. The intense pain from the back made Aerodactyl temporarily incapacitated, but when it saw Doran Messia appearing beside him, it still stretched out its neck as much as possible to bite the opponent. But all this is in vain. No matter what kind of resistance Aerodactyl makes, after losing a lot of action power, it is only the target of Doran Messia. Finally use the Iron Tail attack in a row. Doran Messia himself is a player who is good at physical attack. After using Iron Tail multiple times in a row, this time, successfully hit Aerodactyl's head. The effect is outstanding, and the Aerodactyl is knocked out on the ground. Aerodactyl can't fight. Doran Messia wins. The examiner only reacted when the referee announced the final result. Yourself defeated. The opponent's Doran Messia is just a first-order Pokémon, and the species strength is not as high as Aerodactyl at all. How could it be so powerful? Several times in a row with Iron Tail, Aerodactyl was beaten to the ground directly. This kind of strength is really amazing. Even if it is a quasi-god, without Luo Ling's breeder, it is impossible to achieve such a high intensity. Are the current students so powerful? Do not. It's because Luo Ling is amazing. And this is also the first time that the examiner has lost since the Kunlun University freshman test. Before this, no student could do this. Those who can persist under the examiner's attack are considered very strong, let alone counterattack. After all, it was Aerodactyl that had the upper hand from the start of the race. But I didn't expect that it was just a trap, and it had successfully reversed the situation of the battle. Such an ability to control the whole audience had never been seen by any student. Luo Ling was the first. Student, you are amazing. Congratulations on becoming the first student of our Kunlun University to defeat the examiner. While talking, the examiner surrounded the Pokeball to take back the Aerodactyl. And, in the final test sheet, gave Luo Ling a perfect score of 100. Thank you, teacher. After Luo Ling took back Duolong Messiah and expressed his thanks, he was about to leave, but was suddenly stopped by the examiner. Tomorrow will be the last test, the field survival test. This test will be more difficult, so don't relax tonight, get some rest with your Pokemon. I hope you can also get a good result tomorrow. The examiner suddenly became very interested in the student in front of him. He wanted to see how far Luo Ling could do in the last test. And in the last test, the target rules are simpler, but how to win in the end depends on how Luo Ling understands the rules. Before that, I can't remind too much. After getting off the stage, Luo Ling then sent a message to Ling Shuiyi, asking how the other party's test was going. Ling Shuiyi was faster than Luo Ling, and she had already completed the second test, but it was a pity that in the final process of the battle, she almost won. But in the end, he got a high test score of 96. This kind of entrance test score is placed among many freshmen, and it can definitely be ranked top. Ling Shuiyi is quite satisfied with the result of this test. But when she learned that Luo Ling had successfully defeated the examiner, she was taken aback for a moment, and then felt normal. After all, being able to win the championship in the National High School League, Luo Ling's strength is obvious to all. Tomorrow the last test will begin on Kristoff. Get some rest with the Pokemon tonight. Tomorrow, I will wait for you as promised. Suddenly hearing Luo Ling's words, Ling Shuiyi's mouth turned up slightly, and she nodded in response. Chapter 77 Kunlun Secret Realm. Totem of the Outer Zone. That night, the story of a freshman beating the examiner in the second test was instantly spread throughout Kunlun University. Teachers and students were very surprised. According to the purpose of the school's initial arrangement of the test, it is necessary to test the real strength of the students. That being the case, the examiners will try their best to create difficulties for the freshmen, and will not make it easy for them, and even from the very beginning, they never thought that the freshmen would win the second test. Unexpectedly, there are still students who can break through the blockade of the examiners. Even for Kunlun University, this is big news. Principal Shangguan, it seems that Kunlun University will usher in a great change this year. Dean Feng Yu looked at the profile of freshman Luo Ling, the corners of his mouth were slightly upturned, as if watching a good show normal. Shangguanwen has always maintained a deadpan contest condition. The Luo family, a family of the dragon family, and a new form of salamence. You can pay more attention to this Luo Ling. Also, don't disclose the matter of salamence to outsiders for the time being, and keep it as secret as possible. The new form of salamence, which was circulated on the Longguo network some time ago, was subdued by a student of Kunlun University. If such news is spread, it will definitely cause an uproar in the society. What are the habits of this brand new salamence? Will it actively attack humans, or will it get out of control? All kinds of problems will come one after another, causing unnecessary panic. Therefore, Kunlun University must be responsible for this, at least until it is figured out, it cannot be allowed to cause harm to society. But Feng Yu asked, then why don't you just suppress this salamence and concentrate on researching it? Do you dare to touch people from the Luo family? Aren't you afraid that the Luo family will trouble you? Shangguanwen was not in a good mood. You thought he didn't want to capture the newly discovered salamence for study. It's not that I don't want to, it's that I dare not. Luo Ling is the son of the Luo family. Even Kunlun University, a top Pokemon school in the country, cannot really offend the Luo family. The head of the Luo family is the head of the 18 elites, the top combat power of the Dragon Kingdom, and it is too late to please such a person. You still dare to touch Luo Ling? Forget it. Don't dare to move if you are not moved. The next day, all the students of the trainer department gathered in the school's gymnasium. More than 1,000 freshmen are waiting for the announcement of the rules for the last test. After a while, the teacher who maintained the order of the scene yesterday appeared in front of everyone, holding a microphone. Students, this year's field survival training will be held in Kunlun Secret Realm. Boom. As soon as these words came out, there was an uproar at the scene, and everyone present couldn't calm down instantly. Kunlun Secret Realm. That is the world-famous S-class secret realm. But anyone who has learned about the birth history of Pokemon knows that the endless Kunlun Mountains is one of the regions in the world where Pokemon was first born. It is also one of the most dangerous secret places in the world. For thousands of years, many rare and powerful Pokemon and legendary beasts have appeared in Kunlun Secret Realm. Even according to unofficial historical records, the Kunlun Mountains is still the place where the god of creation appeared. Although it has never been officially confirmed, this legend has always been talked about and believed by people. As one of the few S-level secret realms in the world, it is naturally full of dangers. Almost any wild Pokemon is much stronger than the ones you usually meet. This field survival test requires everyone to stay in the Kunlun Secret Realm for 3 days. Defeat the Pokemon in the secret realm as much as possible while ensuring your own safety. If you meet someone you like, you can accept it yourself. Each Pokemon defeated or subdued in the secret realm will get different points. The stronger the Pokemon, the higher the points. As for the danger issue, I don't have to worry about it. The whole process will be monitored in real time by our college teacher to ensure that everyone will only be active outside the Kunlun secret realm. Please be on time, everyone. The field survival test will start on time at 10 o'clock. After introducing the rules, the students at the scene were happy and sad. After all, it is an S-rank secret realm, so its danger is self-evident. For those who are strong, there is nothing to be afraid of. As for the freshmen who have no confidence in themselves, everything will be fine if they can pass these 3 years, and they don't expect to get high scores and multiple rankings. There is less than an hour until the test starts. During this period, students can try their best to prepare familiar props for survival in the wild. Quite a few people have already left the gymnasium and went to the store to buy what they need. There are also some students who want to complete the test this time by forming a team with someone who knows better. That's him, the National High School League champion. There are several quasi-gods in my hand. I heard that there are even several shiny Pokemon. Suddenly there was a shout not far away. When Luo Ling realized it, he was already surrounded by several students from the same class. Classmates, let's form a team together. When the rules were announced just now, it didn't say that you can't form a team. We don't need too many points, as long as we can survive 3 days. Many students recognized Luo Ling and knew his strength, so they wanted to hug their thighs. However, Luo Ling already had a favorite target to form a team, so he naturally rejected these people who came over. Seeing that there is not much time left, Luo Ling will not waste time on this group of people. I checked my backpack and purchased all the necessary items. 20 minutes before the start of the test, many students have already appeared in the large playground behind the school one after another. From here, you can go directly to the back mountain of the school, and guide you all the way to the secret place of Kunlun. Many students are gearing up and can't wait to start the test. For those with strong strength, it is a very rare opportunity to have the opportunity to enter the Kunlun secret realm. Most of the wild Pokemon in Kunlun secret realm are strong, and there is even a high possibility of encountering Flash or special Pokemon. For the newly enrolled students, most of them only have 3 Pokemon. Naturally, they hope to use this opportunity to expand their Pokemon team as much as possible. As for the general situation of Kunlun secret realm, students can check it through the school's official website. The entire Kunlun secret realm is divided into 24 different areas according to the mountains. The range of activities that the students can carry out this time is limited to the 2 outermost mountain ranges. Everyone has a positioning device, but to be on the safe side, before entering the Kunlun secret realm, the students will get a capsule-shaped prop for calling for help. When encountering a danger that cannot be resolved, you can directly activate the red switch on the capsule, and the surrounding teachers will help the students out of danger. But at the same time, the student's score needs to be settled immediately, and he can no longer catch or defeat wild Pokemon, and will be sent back to the school to end the test. Such an arrangement made the students feel at ease. It seems that Kunlun University dared to let students enter the Kunlun secret realm, so it had made all the preparations. After all the students who can be admitted to Kunlun University are the most favored among their peers. With such a good source of students, how could they really let them face so many dangers in the secret realm? Students, there are still 10 minutes before the official test. Please pack your bags and follow the leading teacher to the back mountain. More than 1,000 freshmen neatly lined up in 10 lines, and under the leadership of more than 30 teachers, they left the minister of Kunlun. Principal's office. Dean Feng Yu, Principal Shang Guanwen, and several senior executives from other schools gathered together with great interest, watching the real-time monitoring screen of this year's field test. What do you think? How many points will the Grand Duke of the Luo family score in the end? One of the school's executives took an interest in Luo Ling and his Salamence. The person sitting opposite spoke. I don't know the final score, but I'm sure it will be the first place. I'm curious how powerful that particular Salamence is. Principal Shangguan, you are in close contact with Alliance, so you haven't heard any inside news. Shangguanwen snorted coldly and denied the conjecture. Normally, Salamence is definitely not the contest condition of Rumbling Moon. So everyone can't help guessing where this strange Salamence came from. Could it be that, like some special Pokemon, it is artificially modified through the Salamence gene? After all, in human history, this is not the first time this kind of thing has been done. But in any case, Yinjia is very consistent on the point of not wanting Solician to disclose the news to the outside world. Kunlun's secret realm. As soon as Luo Ling entered the secret realm, he waited for Ling Shui not far away as agreed. 10 minutes later, when most of the students had gradually penetrated into the inner area, Ling Shui brought Glaceon and appeared in front of Luo Ling. Why don't you summon Pokemon? This is the secret realm of Kunlun, it's better to be careful. In case of a sudden wild Pokemon attack, there is no time to dodge. Ling Shui didn't see the 3 little ones wandering around Luo Ling. The latter brought Ling Shui to a slightly open place. Come out, roaring ears. Following a flash of red light, Rumbling Moon's huge body set off a wave of dust. The news of this special Salamence had already spread throughout the school, and Ling Shui also knew that it was Luo Ling's Pokemon, so she was not as surprised as she imagined. Let's not be in a hurry to fight. Now many people want to earn points as soon as possible, but it will cause a lot of unnecessary friction. Let's go treasure hunting first, and finally came to the S-level secret realm. There must be a lot of treasures here. What Luo Ling said made Ling Shuinong feel very reasonable. 0. Ask for flowers. The test has just begun, there is no need to rush to the battle. If you and other students fancy the same Pokemon, friction will inevitably occur. This is a test for the students, not a test for the students to consume themselves. Only by staying in the secret realm for as long as possible can it be possible to get more points. This is the most important rule of this test. Sit on the back of Rumbling Moon and let him fly with us. Ling Shui nodded, followed Luo Ling's pace, and the two of them sat on the huge back of Rumbling Moon. Boom! Rumbling Moon let out a long roar, and took the two of them into the air. During the process of flying, system reminders kept appearing in Luo Ling's mind. Hint. It is detected that there is a stone of grass at 6 o'clock. Close black lens bracket. Hint. Long Chinguo was detected in the direction of 12 o'clock. Close black lens bracket. Hint. Pasho berry was detected at 11 o'clock. Close black lens bracket. Hint. Revival herb is detected in the direction of 1 o'clock. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Tip. It is detected that there is a black jade stone in the direction of 10 o'clock. Close black lens bracket. Ling Shui was surprised that Luo Ling was able to find so many treasures one after another. She couldn't help asking, how do you know there are babies in these places? Of course it was Roaring Moon who told me. At this time, its special ability, the ability to pick it up, can help me find a lot of treasures. Naturally, Lin Mo couldn't say it was the system, so he could only blame Roaring. As soon as these words came out, Ling Shui was envious. How she wished her Pokemon had such an ability. At the same time, the teachers who are monitoring the students taking the third test are always paying attention to the latest monitoring screen and background data. The test has just started, but someone found that 2 students are appearing on the screen in a radar-like form, agility. Moreover, it is very close to the receiving place of the secret treasure arranged by the school. It should be the son of the Luo family. What happened to the female student behind him? In the satellite images, there is more than one person on Hongmingji's body. Ling Shui, a descendant of the Ice family, the third runner-up of the National High School League, and Luo Ling are high school classmates. That being the case, it would make sense for 2 people to stay together from the beginning. But, how can they always find the treasure in the secret realm? How does it feel like knowing in advance? One of the teachers tried to explain. According to the data, Luo Ling possesses the power to control the dragon, which was shown in the National High School League before. It may be possible to find so many secret treasures because of the special connection of that special salamence. Such an explanation seems to make sense. But just when everyone suddenly realized. The teacher who noticed it first noticed something strange. No, the direction they are going. As soon as this remark came out, it immediately attracted the attention of other teachers around. Everyone looked at the map carefully, and their faces suddenly changed. In the direction Luo Ling and Ling Shui are currently flying to, there is a totem territory in the outskirts. The so-called totem is the most powerful Pokemon in this area. Totem Pokemon is larger than other Pokemon of the same race, and is covered with a special strong Hideki field, which can be regarded as the boss of this area. Not only is it powerful, but in the course of the battle, it will even call out many companions to participate in the battle together, which is extremely difficult to deal with. How did they go to the Totem Pokemon area? The teachers frowned slightly. But now is not the time to ask questions. Hurry up and ask the teacher who is patrolling around to help. Don't let the students get into trouble. As soon as the voice fell, several teachers who were on patrol suddenly received instructions. Everyone frowned at the same time, and hurried to the area where the Totem Pokemon was. Call. A hurricane will whirlwind the leafage of the ground. Luo Ling and Ling Shui got off Kong Mingyu's back, looking around carefully while checking the map information. As Roaring Moon said, the secret treasure is just ahead. Following the direction Ling Shui pointed, Luo Ling found a cave ahead. But just as Luo Ling was about to step forward to check the situation. Boom! Rumbling Moon suddenly roared towards the entrance of the cave, and countless echoed voices were aroused inside. At this moment, Rumbling Moon seemed to become extremely nervous, her eyes fixed on the entrance of the cave, her hair stood on end, as if some danger was gradually approaching. Bump, bump, bump. Suddenly, both Luo Ling and Ling Shui felt a continuous vibration coming from their feet. Ground is constantly vibrating regularly like earthquake normal, and the rhythm is like walking normal. What's the situation? Is it earthquake? Ling Shui is very puzzled, this is not like the shaking frequency of earthquake. Just when the two of them were very puzzled, a loud roar suddenly came from inside the cave. Chapter 78 Rumbling Moon vs Totem Agron. Accompanied by the bottoming roar, a huge Agron appeared in front of Luo Ling and Ling Shui. Luo Ling used the data eye for the first time. Open black lens bracket Agron, steel rock close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket level, 55 close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket character, cautious close black lens bracket. The first ability, hard head will not be affected by the backlash effect of your own moves. Second ability, heavy metal twice the normal body weight. Individual values. HP 30, physical attack 31, special attack 31, physical defense 26, special defense 25, speed 23. Skills. Metal grab, tackle, rock tomb, iron head, metal sound, autotomize, iron tail, mega punch, heavy impact. Open black lens bracket qualification. Elite totem close black lens bracket. Totem Pokemon. Luo Ling looked puzzled. On the outskirts of Kunlun's secret realm, you can meet Totem Pokemon even before you go deep into the interior. It really deserves to be an S-level secret realm, it is so surprising. And the level of this Agron is as high as 55, even higher than the level of Rumbling Moon. It's really head-scratching. It is not easy to deal with this Agron. But the system prompts that the secret treasure is in the cave ahead. Luo Ling will not give up so easily. The S-level Kunlun secret realm is still a secret treasure that is often found in such a deep place, it is definitely a good thing. Hurry up and hide, protect yourself, and leave this Agron to me. Ling Shui also felt the unprecedented pressure. While releasing Glaceon, she knew that she was not strong enough. Simply, he quickly stepped back, found a suitable tree trunk and hid. Luo Ling's eyes were piercing, and he threw 3 Pokeballs at the same time. Touch. 260. Bump. Bump. The 3 little ones appeared in front of Luo Ling at the same time. Rumbling Moon was on the sidelines, all eyes were on Agron. It can feel that the Pokemon in front of it is more powerful than itself. As a Dragon-type Pokemon's warlike ability, Rumbling Moon wants to defeat this Pokemon. Luo Ling directly released the power of Yulong, enveloping his 4 Pokemon. Facing the Totem Agron in front of him, he dare not take it lightly. Especially when I first saw these 2 abilities possessed by Agron, I felt an invisible pressure rushing over. Pokemon like Agron itself has a very huge body shape, and its weight is self-evident. As a totem Pokemon, the Agron in front of him is louder than other Pokemon of the same race, and its overall weight naturally increases. Add the heavy metal from the second ability to double its weight again. Then it only takes a heavy blow to kill all enemies in seconds. The damage caused by the heavy impact move will become stronger and stronger according to the increase in the ratio of the body weight to the opponent's weight. Even the huge Roaring Moon. Facing the Totem Agron in front of him, he also couldn't bear its heavy impact. Not to mention the other 3 little ones. At this time, if you don't let all Pokemon play together, it is not a rival of Totem Pokemon at all. If it weren't for Agron's poor aptitude and not being a Dragon-type Pokemon, he wouldn't be able to get the blessing of Yulong. Otherwise, Luo Ling wants to subdue this Agron. Fortunately, the individual value of this Agron is not perfect, especially in the special and speed, which is slightly insufficient. If you take a strong attack and prevent the opponent from using heavy strikes, you can still fight against it. Nick. Agron roared. Obviously, he was very angry about someone trespassing on its territory. Totem Pokemon have a very strong sense of territory. In this area, they do not allow Pokemon or humans that they do not recognize to appear. Anyone who violates this principle will attack the invaders without hesitation. Agron waved his hands, suddenly controlled a lot of rocks on both sides of his body, and flew towards Luo Ling. Bump. Rumbling Moon waved its wings and smashed all these rocks into pieces. Agron, who was planning to use Rock Tomb, looked at the not-so-small Roaring Moon. The 2 Pokemon stared at each other, and the atmosphere of the scene was anxious. Fracture. Use Dragon Stars. Dragonair. Summon Twister to interfere with Agron. Xiao Duolong, hide yourself first, and be discovered by the enemy. The other 3 little ones also acted quickly, and Luo Ling asked them to use attack methods that didn't need to be close to Agron. Although it is not the best and most familiar offensive ability of the 3 little ones, it can guarantee safe output without touching Totem Pokemon. The power of the output is naturally greatly reduced, but in the face of such a Totem Pokemon, it has just begun to fight, and it is necessary to inquire about the opponent's reality and determine its strength. The Dragon Star group is gradually falling in the sky, and in conjunction with the restless trend of Twister, the power of the falling rock becomes stronger. Rumbling Moon also rushed directly in front of Agron, pushing the opponent to the rock wall continuously, restricting the opponent's actions. Bump, bump, bump. The Dragon Star group successfully hit Agron, but after all, its power was small, and it didn't cause too much damage. It was like Tickle Normal, and it didn't have any effect at all. In terms of strength alone, Agron will not lose to Rumbling Moon. He stepped on the ground with both feet, the ground vibrated, and the breath he exhaled became heavier than before. Battle warning. Totem Toast Lyron is about to use Heavy Slam. Seeing this, Luo Ling shouted, Roaring Moon, fly to soaring in the sky. At the same time, he also ordered the other 3 little ones to stay away from Agron. It is best not to stand in the frontal position facing the other party. Agron let out a low growl. I saw that he exerted all his strength and rushed straight forward. All the flowers, plants and trees that are not in front of it, or the rocks, are all rushed into a straight long path. Even looking from the air, it is very obvious. But wherever Agron looked, everything was destroyed, like a wasteland, with the brownish-yellow soil exposed and barren. Fortunately, Rumbling Moon has a great advantage in terms of speed, rising rapidly, dodging Agron's heavy slam at the last second. I didn't expect this Agron to be so aggressive. The 2 parties had just met, and unexpectedly sent such a large present. It seems that it is not as easy as imagined to deal with this Totem Pokemon. Xiao Duolong, Dragonair, you 2 will use Thunder Wave on each other later. After successfully paralyzing the enemy, Fracture pulls out all the stops and tackles the enemy with Iron Head. Rumbling Moon, you use Dragon Claw from the sky. Before Agron came back, Luo Ling hurriedly gave the order. In field battles, although there are not so many rules to allow many Pokemon to fight at the same time, when giving orders, it is naturally not as accurate as 10 pairs. So in order to be able to win as much as possible, You must learn that, and judge in advance what kind of offensive methods the enemy will use. This is also the ability that a trainer needs to master. Not long after, Agron, who had used Heavy Slam, returned to the entrance of the cave. As soon as he came back, he threw his heavy tail and knocked down all the surrounding trees. In this way, the line of sight is no longer blocked, and the Pokémon have nowhere to hide. The three little ones seemed a little taken aback. They also wanted to use the surrounding terrain to hide and wait for the right opportunity to attack. But now, there is no such opportunity. Agron looks at Dragonair and Mega Punch on it. Fortunately, Agron's speed is not fast, and Dragonair is a fast attacker, so he can only dodge non-stop. But even so, one must be careful with the opponent's fist. This Agron can make mistakes many times, but for Hakron, there is no chance to make mistakes. Boom! The roaring moon hovering and soaring in the sky gathered the strength of his whole body in his hands, and glided straight towards the Agron on the ground. When Dragon Claw successfully hit Agron, there was a sound of metal collisions, but this was the first time that it had successfully caused considerable damage to Agron. Not only that, even the targeted Dragonair was finally free, using Thunder Wave at close range. Doran Messiah also ended the effect of invisibility. With Dragonair, the two Pokémon used the same move one after the other. Thunder Wave is not 100% able to paralyze rival. But having two Pokémon that use Thunder Wave greatly increases the chance of paralyzing Agron. Sure enough, Operation Agron suffered. There is a lot of electromagnetic interference left on its body, which inevitably makes it difficult for him to move. It's now, Roaring Moon, grab Agron and don't let him move. Fracture, wield your rights and use Iron Head tackle Agron's belly. Xiao Duolong, use Phantom Force, first look for the opponent's weakness, and find the right time to attack. Dragonair, keep using Thunder Wave. After this lap, even Luo Ling felt a little parched. However, it's all worth it. At this time, Agron's hands were pulled from behind by Rumbling Moon, and his body was still electromagnetically paralyzed, unable to move. Under the blessing of the power of Yulong, Fracture rushed forward and successfully tackled to Agron. Although Agron's physical defense is very high, it is very difficult to hit, but Fracture has a Dragon Power boost, which makes its attack much higher than other Pokémon of the same level. Coupled with the subsequent appearance of Phantom Force by Agron Messiah, it successfully hit the vital point and consumed a lot of Agron's physical strength. Kick. Agron clutched his stomach and stepped back a distance. Immediately afterwards, it raised its head to the sky and howled, but it didn't make any offensive moves or show any signs of it. This inevitably made Luo Ling feel puzzled. The roar released by Agron just now is not as simple as it seems. Wait a moment. All I heard was a sudden rustling sound from the surrounding woods. Luo Ling immediately realized that this is the ability of Totem Pokemon. They can call the Pokemon around them to help out and join in the battle. After a while, all the slightly weaker Arnold Pokemon around here appeared in front of them, surrounding Luo Ling. Do not worry. Give me these Pokemon. You can fight with peace of mind. At this moment, Ling Shui suddenly appeared beside Luo Ling. Finally, successfully blocked these wild Pokemon to move forward. Come out, my comrades. Glaceon, Ninetales. Cloyster. Ling Shui threw 3 Pokeballs, and the moment the red light flashed, all 3 Pokemon she owned also appeared on the battlefield. The surrounding wild Pokemon roared in battle. Ling Shui is also the 3rd runner-up in the National High School League. She can't beat Agron, but these weak Pokemon in front of her are naturally no problem. Even if there are many opponents, it is only a matter of time. Glaceon, Ninetales, Spiny Clams. Use Freezing Light. With Ling Shui's order, Glaceon and Ninetales opened their mouths at the same time, and cast Freezing Light on the wild Pokemon in front of them. As for Cloyster, there is a frozen light emanating from the jewel on his forehead. This place is at the outermost edge of Kunlun's secret realm, and the terrain here has not been covered by ice and snow yet. Therefore, most of the experiences that appear are related. At the moment of being irradiated by the freezing light, there is no immunity, and they are all frozen. This also greatly reduces the number of Pokemon that need to be fought next. As for those Pokemon who moved faster and escaped the freezing light, they reappeared in front of Ling Shui. With a solid backing behind him, Luo Ling was able to fight against Agron with peace of mind. The two turned their heads to look at each other, gave each other a very tacit look, and then they fought again. Battle warning. Bosco Dust will use Hyper Beam. A system prompt appeared suddenly, allowing Luo Ling to respond immediately, ordering the 4 Pokemon to stay away from Agron. In the next second, Agron opened his mouth and released a powerful Hyper Beam, directly adding half of the mountain to smack down. But because Boss 0.4 Lyron has the ability with a hard head. Therefore, after using a powerful move like Hyper Beam, you will not receive the backlash effect of the move itself, and you can still continue to act. Rumbling Moon, quickly grab Agron's hand from behind. Boom. The Roaring Moon U-turn, which was about to fly into the air, took advantage of its speed and grabbed Agron's hands again before he could turn around, restraining the other. Action. Give it all to me. Dragon Rush, Phantom Force, bye. This time, Luo Ling inspired the power of Yulong, allowing the only huge Pokemon like Rumbling Moon to rush forward first. Then let the other 3 little ones attack with all their strength. Although the size does not occupy any advantage at all. But at any rate, each of the 3 little ones has surpassed level 40, and Dragonair has even reached level 45. They strike with all their strength, coupled with the boost of Li Huang with the power of Yulong. Even if he couldn't defeat Agron directly, he could still inflict heavy damage on the opponent. With an iron head on his head, Fracture took the lead and hit Agron's abdomen first, in the same position as before. It was followed by Doran Mahia, who was varied by Phantom Force, followed by another heavy attack by Iron Head. The same part has been attacked so many times in a row, and Agron has become a bit struggling at this time. When Dragonair's fierce impact hit Agron's abdomen again, its eyes turned white, and in the next second, the strength of the whole body that was still resisting Rumbling Moon suddenly disappeared. Rumbling Moon seemed to have sensed that Agron couldn't hold on anymore, so he let go of the hands that bound him. Bump. Agron's heavy body fell to the ground. Chapter 79 Conquering the White Flash Beon. With the fall of the totem Pokemon Agron, the Pokemon summoned by it to participate in the battle finally stopped. The battle on Ling Shui's side has finally come to an end. Luo Ling and Ling Shui could finally breathe a sigh of relief. The two glanced at each other to confirm that each other was safe, and smiled relaxedly. The wild Pokemon around found that Totem Agron was defeated, and they all surrounded him, not knowing what to do. Totem Pokemon is the king of one territory. Now that the king is gone, the people naturally don't know what to say. Swish, swish, swish. A few figures suddenly passed by around, alarming the weaker Pokemon and scaring them away. In a blink of an eye, several teachers who were patrolling nearby came over. They received news that Luo Ling and Ling Shui accidentally broke into Totem Pokemon's chassis and disturbed Totem Pokemon. They wanted to come over to help resolve the crisis, but now it seems that they don't need it. Agron has been defeated, lying motionless on the ground. Where is the majesty and arrogance of being a Totem Pokemon? How is this different from the instructions they received? Didn't it mean that Luo Ling and Ling Shui are dangerous? But now this appearance, where is the appearance of being in crisis? Looking at the fallen Agron, one of the patrol teachers stepped forward to ask. Student, did you defeat this Totem Pokemon? Yes. Luo Ling nodded, but the other Pokemon around were all defeated by my companions. This test is calculated on the basis of head count. Luo Ling was afraid that the inspection teachers would pay too much attention to Totem Agron and forget to calculate Ling Shui's score. Indeed, a large number of wild Pokemon around were either defeated or frozen, and thanks to Ling Shui, they were not able to interfere with Luo Ling. The patrolling teachers were all shocked. The Totem Agron just defeated was enough to bring Luo Ling's points to the first place in the game. You know, this is a level 55 Totem Pokemon. Even some teachers from Kunlun University dare not deal with this Agron easily. It can be seen that Luo Ling's strength is no longer comparable to that of normal students. Under such circumstances, there is no need for him to continue to compete, and there is no suspense in the first place in the third round of the O3 test. At this time, the sound of the command center came from the patrol teacher's earphone. After a while, the patrol teacher said to Luo Ling, Student, your score is already the first, and you are far ahead. It is impossible for anyone to catch up with you. You are already the first place. And just ended a large-scale battle. You can come back with us for an inspection to see if Pokemon Dream is all right. Before the inspecting teacher finished speaking, Lu directly refused. I'm fine with the Pokemon. The time for the test is not over yet, and the capsule for help has not been pressed. Should continue to participate in the test. Besides, my Pokemon's contest conditions are all good. Proposal. Axew. Do. Boom. All four of Luo Ling's Pokemon responded positively. Their bodies are constantly shaking, and they seem to be in peace. As soon as these words came out, the teachers on inspection were speechless. It's true that Luo Ling or Ling Shui didn't appear here because they pressed seek capsule items. That being the case, there is really no reason to ask the other party to leave the secret realm now. Seeing Totem Agron confirmed to have been defeated at the scene, the patrolling teachers reported the situation here to the command center, and after receiving instructions, they dispersed one after another. It was really dangerous just now. There are more and more wild Pokemon around, and I'm afraid I won't be able to handle it. Ling Shui brought her Pokemon to Luo Ling. Also, don't forget to encourage Glaceon, Ninetales and Cloyster. Totem Pokemon do have the ability to summon companions to fight, so that's why Totem Pokemon are so difficult to deal with. But fortunately, I had you just now, so I could fight Agron without distraction. Hearing what Luo Ling said, the corners of Ling Shui's mouth turned up slightly, her cheeks flushed unavoidably. But he quickly came back to his senses and said, Don't waste time, let's go to the cave to see what secret treasures are worth guarding with a Totem Pokemon. Luo Ling nodded, and the two took back the Pokemon first, leaving only one Pokemon each. Ling Shui stayed with Glaceon, and Luo Ling stayed with Duolong Magia. The two lit a torch, and gradually tossed it inside the cave. The cave is extremely dark and the visibility is very low. Totem Agron lives in it, and it can be regarded as wronged. Ling Shui snuggled tightly behind Luo Ling, her body trembling slightly. The further you go in, the colder the air around you will be, it's unbearably cold. Luo Ling quickly took off his coat and put it on for Ling Shui. If you really can't bear it, go outside and wait for me first. Ling Shui shook her head. I can hold on, I will go with you. Although her strength is not as strong as Luo Ling, but if she just helps to clear some weaker wild Pokemon, it is more than enough. Seeing that the other party was so persistent, Luo Ling decided to speed up his pace and quickly find the secret treasure. As they continued to deepen, the surrounding space gradually became larger, and finally, the two came to the deepest part of the cave, a huge open space. Here, No trace of wild Pokémon was found, but there was a sudden flash of Cal in the forefront. When I got closer, it was a crystal bead that resembled a water drop. It reveals a lavender and white pattern, with dark blue traces in the middle, which looks like a peach heart that is not completely closed. What is this? Ling Shui frowned slightly. Even though she had read extensively and knew the history of Pokémon very well, she still hadn't seen this thing in front of her. Luo Ling kept recalling in his mind, and suddenly remembered that this is naturally a very important prop for Latios or Latios. Soul Dew. When Latios or Latios carry Soul Dew, they can increase the power of Super Power and Dragon moves. The Dragon type and Super Power type are exactly the attributes of Latios and Latios. Therefore, the Soul Dew in front of them is completely their exclusive carrying item. I didn't expect to be able to find the legendary Pokemon's props in the cave. It really deserves to be an S-rank secret realm. It is only in the peripheral area that such a precious secret treasure can be found. It seems that it is said that one can meet a divine beast in the depths of the secret realm, and this matter is also very reliable. Look, there seems to be something underneath. Ling Shui searched down with sharp eyes, successfully found the groove of Soul Dew, continued to dig deep, and found a purple armor that looked a bit worn out and was full of earthy smell. This armor is rusty and looks old. But this time, Ling Shui recognized what it was. Armor of Spells. This is the armor that allows Little Tan to evolve into a Kenyan Blade Demon. The armor of incantations is hidden so deeply that it is indeed not easy to find. It seems that Ling Shui's eyes are still very good. This time I found 2 secret treasures, and the armor of incantations was discovered thanks to you, so I will give you this armor. Ling Shui nodded, and happily accepted the armor. Although she was born in an ice-type family, she will definitely not use a fire-type Pokémon like Charcoal Attendant, but the spell armor itself is relatively rare, and it can be exchanged with Last Resort or other families when it is brought back to the family. In addition to good or bad relations between different families, there is also a transactional relationship. After all, everyone just gets what they need, and no one is at a disadvantage. By the time the two came out of the cave, it was already late. I spent a whole day looking for secret treasures outside Kunlun's secret realm, and fought a totem Pokémon for a long time. It's also a time to think about sleeping overnight. The area is considered safe as all wild Pokémon near the entrance of the cave have been determined to be gone. Luo Ling and Ling Shui decided to camp here. At night, the starry sky is bright. For safety reasons, Luo Ling and Ling Shuisui were in the same tent in different sleeping bags, with a curtain engraved in the middle. Today, did I hold you back? Recalling what happened during the day, Ling Shui always felt that it was a pity that she could not participate in the battle against Agron. Luo Ling comforted her. Don't think so, if you can help me drive away all the wild Pokemon around, you have already helped me a lot. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have won the Totem Pokemon when those wild Pokemon came by. Hearing these words, Ling Shui felt warm in her heart, and when she closed her eyes, the corners of her mouth could not help but turn up slightly. The next day, early in the morning, the sun first appeared. Luo Ling and Ling Shui simply ate some dry food and put away the tent. I found so many treasures yesterday, and it's time to earn points today. I am going to continue to explore the depths of the secret realm. What are your plans? After all, Ling Shui's points are not as high as Luo Ling's. If you want to achieve good results in the last test, you need to fight more and earn points. As for Luo Ling, a level 55 Totem Agron is enough for him to secure the number 1 spot, so naturally there is no need to worry. Ling Shui also knew this, so she decided to separate from Luo Ling temporarily. Earn points first, and it's not too late to come to Luo Ling after you can stabilize the top 3. Besides, having fought against so many wild Pokemon yesterday, with a very good base points, it is not difficult to catch up with others' points as soon as possible. In this way, the two parted ways for the time being. Come out, rumbling moon. Luo Ling took the roaring moon and continued to explore in soaring in the sky. The current him, without any point pressure, naturally looks much more relaxed. So, I decided to go to the edge of the school's prescribed range, closer to the depths of the Kunlun secret realm to explore. Often the closer to the depths of the secret realm, the more and better secret treasures can be encountered. After a period of time, according to the prompts of the system, I found several evolutionary stones and precious tree fruits in the secret realm. Hint. The host found Flash Begon at 10 o'clock. Suddenly, the system's notification sounded, and Luo Ling looked in the direction of 10 o'clock. In front of it is a protruding rock block, which forms a low-level cliff with the ground below. A white Bagon stood on the edge of the cliff, struggling to open its short hands, and with a burst of energy, it went straight to the edge of the cliff. At the moment when he struggled to jump out, he kept waving his hands up and down, trying to take off in midair. It's just that with the weak body and the lack of wings, this scene seems a bit funny. Pokemon like Bagon always like to live alone, no. Likes to be in groups. And they always dream of being able to soar in soaring in the sky, so they will jump off the cliff to practice flying. However, before it evolved into Salamence, it could only keep jumping off cliffs without wings. In the end, I still landed on my head, and every time I buried half of my head in the ground, it turned into an upside-down onion. The short body kept shaking, trying to pull out the head from the ground. It looks pretty cute. Immediately, Luo Ling used the Eye of Data on the white Flash Bagon. Open black lens bracket Bagon. Dragon white flash close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket level. 12 close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket character. Serious close black lens bracket. The first ability. Hard head will not be affected by the backlash effect of your own moves. Open black lens bracket. Second ability. Forcing the power of attack moves with additional effects is increased, and the additional effects of moves will no longer be activated. Close black lens bracket. Individual value. HP 31, physical attack 31, special attack 31, physical defense 31, special defense 31, speed 31, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket skills. Bite, Dragon Breath, Headbutt, Mud Slap, Facade, Protect, Dragon Claw, Crunch, Ember, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket qualification. Champion close black lens bracket. This made Luo Ling's eyes light up. This Beon is not only a shiny Pokemon, but also has such high aptitude, and it is still a 6v full individual. If you can tame it, be a good breeder, and you can add a powerful force to your dragon team. In the blink of an eye, Luo Ling had stopped the rumbling moon near the cliff, trying to approach the Beon slowly. Chant. Beon had just pulled himself out of the ground when he suddenly saw Luo Ling appearing in front of him and immediately became alert. Babe. Luo Ling immediately released the power of Yulong, trying to communicate with this Beon. But the other party didn't seem to appreciate it, and put on an aloof attitude, ready to go back to the cliff and continue to practice the ability of flying. Luo Ling also followed and climbed up the cliff. Just as Beon was about to jump down, he saw Rumbling Moon watching it not far away. Wow, that Pokemon has wings, fly. Such emotions immediately took hold of Beon. That's my partner. If you want to learn flying, you can join us. I'll let Rumbling Moon teach you how to contact flying. Luo Ling wanted to take the opportunity to explain Beon. Although he really wanted to fly, but because of his ability to live in groups, Beon ignored Luo Ling and jumped off the cliff again. It's just that this time he didn't climb the cliff again, but came to the front of Rumbling Moon. The two Pokemon are staring at each other like this, because the same gene in the blood makes them very interested in each other. Cowrie. Boom. The two sides made noises to test each other, and after finding that there was no hostility, they let go of their guard. Luo Ling took out the energy cube from the bag, and gently handed it to Beon. He whispered softly, I practiced flying for so long just now, so I'm probably tired, so let's add some energy. Beon blinked, glanced at the energy cube, and sniffed it with his nose, as if it smelled good. Boom. The roaring moon reassures Beon, saying that it is not poisonous, so eat it with confidence. At this point, Beon finally ate the energy cube with peace of mind. Cowrie. At this moment, Beon felt an unprecedented force sweeping his body, all the stamina he had consumed before was restored, and more importantly, it was delicious. The roaring moon flies very fast. If you join us, your strength will definitely improve rapidly. Learn to fly as soon as possible. There will be a lot of delicious food waiting for you in the future. Luo Ling opened the same mouth as Master G, which made Beon feel confused. But after glancing at Rumbling Moon, the other party nodded, and Beon agreed to let Rong approach him while eating the energy cube. The latter took out the Pokeball and gently touched the Beon. A red light flashed and took Beon into the goal. Ding dong, ding dong, ding. Watching the red light turn green, Luo Ling nodded in satisfaction. Flash Beon, subdued. Chapter 80. The Ying Family of the Dragon. Meteor Remnants. Kunlun University, Freshman Test Command Center. The picture of Luo Ling successfully recovering the Flash Beon by relying on his powerful mouth and blood kidnapping is still vivid in his mind. This made all the teachers present sigh with emotion. As expected of the son of the Luo family, it's so easy to recover such a qualified dragon Pokemon. I think it should be the relationship between the power of the dragon, which makes it easier for dragon Pokemon to get close to him. The previous totem Agron was quite violent. Such an explanation is quite reasonable. After all, he was born in a dragon family, so he naturally knows the abilities of dragon Pokemon very well. Beon itself is a Pokemon that has never evolved. Before it finally evolved into Salamence, it was really not that cruel. However, the scene of recovering the Flash Beon just now is still interesting to talk about. As for Luo Ling, after regaining Beon, he immediately had a close contact with other friends to get to know his predecessors. Pokemon were able to sense each other's strength before, so it also let Beon know that following Luo Ling, they can really become stronger. Axew. Fracture slowly approached Beon, as if he couldn't believe that he was the last among the sisters, and one day his status became higher again. More importantly, it is finally not the lowest level one. Babe. Suddenly seeing so many powerful dragon seniors, Beon was stunned. The colleague who was blinking his eyes hid under the wings of the roaring moon. After all, they are connected by blood, so it will be easier to get close. Salamence took good care of his distant relative. While protecting him, he also reckoned that Beon wouldn't need to be so nervous. Seeing this scene, Lu Lengeling smiled. Okay everyone, the meeting is over, and I'm still taking the freshman test. If you have anything to say, let's talk about it when we go back. As soon as the words fell, Luo Ling had already taken back the three little ones. Naturally, he would not take them back when he was going to ride the roaring moon, but Beon received special care and did not return the Pokeball. Stayed by Luo Ling's side. Just recovered it. Let Beon stay by my side and get closer to me, it will be of great help to the tacit understanding and intimacy between the two. The current Beon is only level 12, which is still too low. In order to prevent the bucket effect of your own Pokemon pair, it is better to give priority to training Beon first. The freshman test was only less than half the time. Taking advantage of this opportunity, under the guidance of the Roaring Moon and the help of the system, Luo Ling collected a lot of secret treasures. At the same time, Beon battles are also used to specifically select weaker wild Pokemon to fight. If you really encounter a situation that Beon can't handle, then Rumbling Moon will take action. If the Rumbling Moon is only at the outermost edge of the Kunlun secret realm, unless you encounter a special existence like Totem Pokemon, you can still walk sideways. This way down, after a lot of fighting, Beon has gotten a lot of exercise, and his level has increased from level 12 to level 15. It didn't take long for the freshman test, and Wong finally got time to upgrade to level 3, which was a disaster. Seeing that there were only 2 hours left in the freshman test, Luo Ling took Beon back and said to Rumbling Moon, "It's time to go back." The Rumbling Moon responded, signaling Luo Ling to sit on its back and take off. The mountain behind Kunlun University. Almost all the freshmen came back one after another. The school stipulates that in the last 2 hours of the field survival test, any channel for calculating points will be closed. Students need to come back within this time, otherwise it will be regarded as a violation, and all the points obtained before will not be counted. Ling Shui has already returned to the back mountain with the main force. After the last 2 days of hard work, she has already gained a lot of points and should be able to sit firmly in the previous position besides Luo Ling. Being able to achieve such a result, Ling Shui is already very satisfied. It's just that there is only less than an hour left before the test, and Luo Ling still hasn't been seen. Ling Shui began to feel a little worried, for fear that the other party would not be able to come back. Seeing the time is passing by every minute and every second. Almost all freshmen have returned. The teacher who was counting the number of people said to the other teachers, "There is still the last Luo Ling Yi. He probably ran too far before, so it's more troublesome to come back. It's still the last 10 minutes, just wait and see." Now, Ling Shui became more and more worried. Looking at soaring in the sky in the direction of the Kunlun secret realm, his eyes suddenly brightened. Came back. Luo Ling is back. When the teachers heard what Ling Shui said, they all looked in the direction she pointed. In the sky, the roaring moon was carrying Luo Ling back at high speed. About a few minutes later, Rumbling Moon's huge body landed on the ground behind the mountain, and a gust of wind whizzed past. Luo Ling got off Roaring Moon's back and brought it back to Pokeball C. "Teachers, you shouldn't be late." Luo Ling glanced at the time, and there were still 3 minutes left before the 3-day countdown ended. The teacher who led the team shook his head. Now that the students are finally here, they can finally rest assured. It is a pity that in every freshman test in the past years, there will always be 1 or 2 that are invalidated because they did not have time to get back the results. Please return to the school gymnasium in an orderly manner. We will announce everyone's scores in the gymnasium. In this way, all the freshmen of the trainer department reunited this year. Right in front of the school gymnasium, the teacher who had previously maintained order had already prepared the screen. Please stay calm, everyone. Next, we will announce the points ranking of this year's field survival test in order. In the eyes of many concerned, the big screen broadcast all the freshmen's points ranking of this field survival test at one time. Luo Ling, 14,568 points. The result of the first place is really dazzling. He is also the only one who has successfully broken the mark. This is truly amazing. There was an uproar at the scene, and the students couldn't believe their eyes, and even once thought that the school had made a mistake. How can that be? Why is there such a big gap between Luo Ling and Lee Chungkun? Among the student crowd, some people raised doubts, which is also the doubt in everyone's mind. Lee Chungkun, who is the second place, only has 9,165 points. The gap between these two places is too much. Teachers seem to have expected this to happen, no panic at all. While ordering the big screen to play the video, he told everyone. If any of you have the ability to defeat Totem Pokemon, you can also get so many points. The battle between Luo Ling and Totem Agron was played on the big screen. Indeed, just this one Totem Agron directly gave Luo Ling 10,000 points. In the history of the previous freshman test, no student has ever been able to obtain 5-digit points. That's why the teachers who were inspecting at that time told Luo Ling that with the points he got so far, he didn't need to continue participating. The students immediately fell silent when they saw the scene of Luo Ling fighting with the Overlord Agron. They don't think they are capable of fighting Totem Pokemon. That being the case, Luo Ling, as the number 1 student and the only student whose score exceeded 10,000, also has enough convincing power. Afterwards, the focus of Yin's family was placed on the next few students. The third place, Xiao Yan, scored 8,945 points. The fourth place, Winning Lottery, 8,940 points. The fifth place, Ling Shui, scored 8,891 points. The sixth place, Li Lizzie, scored 8,868 points. When she saw her ranking, Ling Shui felt a little surprised. She didn't expect that she was only ranked 5th, which was indeed a little bit worse than what she had expected. It seems that among this year's freshmen, there are indeed a few powerful guys. After the announcement of the rankings, the 3 tests for freshman admission are all over. I thought that as a result of the final ranking, the higher the ranking, the rewards from some schools could be obtained, but I didn't expect that there was nothing. This inevitably made Luo Ling complain, as Kunlun University so picky. After having dinner with Ling Shui, Luo Ling returned to the dormitory. Son, why is there a Begon next to you? Still white. Luo Ling, who was on the phone with his parents, showed the flash Beon he had just captured. This can make the old father envious. After roughly talking about the episode of meeting Beon, Luo Hongji's voice came. You kid is really lucky, you really deserve to be my son. Just to take part in a test, unexpectedly can meet the wild flash Beon. But now is not the time to take it lightly. According to Kunlun University's custom, freshmen will have a freshman exhibition after the entrance examination. That's the real test. As soon as these words came out, Luo Ling was very interested. The so-called freshman competition will be held the day after the freshman test. At that time, the children of many hermit families in the Dragon Kingdom will also appear. The children of these families often do not take the college entrance examination, but when they reach the age of 18 and pass the family's assessment, they will be admitted in advance by the top universities in Longguo. Therefore, the National High School League and the college entrance examination are actually not the real main battlefield among peers. The place where the real masters of the same generation gather is actually the University League after entering university. The University League is jointly organized by top Pokemon universities across the country, and is also recognized and supported by the government. Schools that can get a good ranking in this league will naturally get more financial and resource support from the government. Therefore, the University League is the glory that all top universities must compete for. In order to be able to send the strongest players of the year in this league, Kunlun University arranges an annual freshman competition just to prepare seed players for the University League. When I was young, I actually suffered a loss in the freshman competition. And also lost to the winner of the same dragon specialized family. When talking about this, Luo Hongji couldn't help expressing emotion. Who was still young and vigorous. Also taking this opportunity, Luo Hongji introduced to Luo Ling the situation of the winner of the hermit family. Dragon winner, also known as meteor remnant. They are the descendants of the first emperor Yingzheng thousands of years ago. It was only after their family fell into decline that they were forced to hide from the world in order to preserve their family strength. But this does not mean that their strength is weak. Currently, the winner lives in a secret place called Peach Blossom Spring. The secret book is very secret, and few people know it. Even Luo Hongji didn't know much about it. He only knew that Taohuiyuan had a tower that could penetrate the sky and earth, and a bronze pillar engraved with dragon inscriptions. Speaking of the person who defeated Luo Hongji back then, his name was Ying Niantian, naturally. He became one of the reserve players of Kunlun University to participate in the college league. It's a pity that Ying Nongtian didn't participate in the college league at all for unknown reasons. Later, it was said that he returned to the family, which also caused Luo Hongji to only fight against him in the freshman competition. Ying Nongtian is indeed one of the few who can defeat me. If there is a chance, I still hope to fight him again. Luo Hongji looked a little regretful. After being defeated that year, I always wanted to find a chance to fight again and regain my own glory. Unexpectedly, rival was gone. Not even a chance to fight. Seeing his father's lost appearance, Luo Ling silently remembered this matter in his heart. Dragon winner. Interesting. It is indeed possible to fight the opponent. However, he will not lose. The battle where my father was defeated back then, if there is a chance in the future, I will let Luo Ling pay it back. I continued to exchange a few words with my parents, showing off flashes Beon like my father, to ease the atmosphere just now, and then hung up the phone to rest. You heard it just now. There is another person in our school who is also from a dragon family. Tomorrow there will be a freshman competition, so don't take it lightly. While talking, Luo Ling, you stroke the 4 cubs. Axu. Proposal. Do. Babe. The 4 cute little cats stick to Luo Ling's side, making funny growl from time to time, which makes people very happy after hearing it. Especially Beon, who has just been reined in. Everyone was in the dormitory, no matter where Luo Ling went, they would follow behind him like a follower. Thinking that there will be a freshman competition tomorrow in Kristoff, Luo Ling told Ling Shuiyi the news while preparing for the competition. Since the announcement of the scores and rankings, the school, Zhao Zhao, has not announced this matter, and Ling Shuiyi probably doesn't know about it either. Soon, there was a reply from Ling Shuiyi. I didn't expect there to be such a game, so I have to prepare quickly. Thank you for reminding. At the end of the message reply, Ling Shuiyi also sent a cute emoji. Afterwards, Luo Ling began to sort out the things he might need to use in the battle. At this moment, Luo Ling suddenly remembered the names of those people who were behind him when the points ranking was announced today. There is a girl named Ying Kair who came in 4th. Win the lottery. Surname Ying. Could it be that the other party is the descendant of the dragon winner? It can't be such a coincidence, can it? But in any case, it is better to be careful. Being able to rank 4th in terms of points among more than 1,000 students must be a strong rival. The next day, according to the notice issued by the school, not only the trainer department, but all the incoming freshmen this year gathered in the school's large gymnasium. Students form teams according to different majors. Soon, a teacher with white hair appeared in front of everyone. Luo Ling recognized each other at the first sight. Isn't this the teacher at the freshman reception desk? I didn't expect to see him in this place. It seems that the identity of the other party is not just a simple receptionist for freshmen. Students, welcome to successfully enroll in Kunlun University. As a new student this year, after finishing the freshman test, the next step will be the freshman exhibition. I will introduce to you the rules of this year's freshman competition. There are 3 stages in total. In the first stage, the audition for the ring, there are an average of about 10 people in each ring, a scuffle, and the last 2 remaining will advance. The second stage, 3v3 single elimination match, will be randomly assigned by the school. The third stage, the final, starting from the quarterfinals, this stage will use 6 Pokemon to fight. Chapter 81 Dragon Dance Dodge. 1 Volt 9. 6 Pokemon Full Battle. This surprised the freshmen. This is just the beginning of school, and most people only have 3 Pokemon, which is the norm. Now it is required to fight at full strength, not to mention the weak Pokemon, who can't even get it out now. There was an uproar at the scene. The students don't understand why there is such a rule. When everyone was puzzled, the white-haired man on the stage continued, if you don't have a full team of 6 Pokemon in your hand, use as many Pokemon as you have. It's still not fair to freshmen. After the first round of freshman testing, those with more than 3 Pokemon have surfaced. Especially Luo Ling and Salamence, a new mentality that has never been seen before, caused a lot of sensation at that time. Under such circumstances, anyone who meets Luo Ling will definitely lose. The school has arranged the battlefield, and students will get a number plate every month. In the main hall of the gymnasium, there will be information and results of the fair battle. Everyone pay attention to your rival, and don't miss the battle time. After speaking, the white-haired man vacated the middle position on the stage, and a huge monitor slowly fell from sky. The entire screen is divided into 2 areas. On the left is the information of the upcoming players, and on the right is the announcement of the results of the most recent battle. It is currently the first stage of the ring audition. Luo Ling saw his name on the 5th ring. At this stage, each person can only use Pokemon all the time to participate in the melee, and the final 10 becomes 2. Ling Shui also saw her name on the 3rd ring in the 2nd round. All information will be synchronized to the students' mobile phones. However, Luo Ling, who appeared first, seems to have become the object of special attention of many people on the scene. They all watched Luo Ling's every move closely, especially because they participated in the melee audition on the same stage with Luo Ling, and they regarded him as a thorn in their side. Luo Ling's roaring month is the focus of attention of all teachers and students in the school. When such a huge monster comes and goes, blood is bound to be seen. I feel like you are more dangerous than me. Look at the classmates around you are staring at you. Ling Shui teased, and waved at the people staring at Luo Ling from time to say hello. This embarrasses those people instead. It doesn't matter what you do so much, just make sure you can advance to the next level. There are still a few minutes until the game starts, we can't prepare it. Ling Shui nodded, and followed Luo Ling to a place where no one was around. The two helped each other check the Pokemon's contest condition to see if there was any problem. Everything is ready, the first round of 337 melee is about to begin. Battle Lounge. Others who are not in a hurry to play are waiting here to be called. In the corner, a table of 4 people were drinking coffee while watching Luo Ling's every move. They were the hermit family mentioned by Luo Hongji. However, there are not only winners. Look at that Luo Ling, it's quite a power trip, I'm angry when I see him. If he hadn't been lucky enough to meet a totem Pokemon, how could he have surpassed us in points? While drinking coffee, Lee Chungkun vented his inner dissatisfaction. In the 3rd stage of the freshman test, he has been fighting for opportunities non-stop from the very beginning, but whenever he encounters any wild Pokemon, he will never let it go and defeat it. After working hard for 3 days, I have already reached more than 9,000 points. Such a result, even among the previous freshmen, is definitely among the best. Unexpectedly, Luo Ling with more than 14,000 points suddenly appeared. Let him, who was destined to take the 1st place, suddenly become the 2nd, and there is a lot of dissatisfaction in his heart. Don't worry, we still can't meet Luo Ling in the 1st stage. Wait until the 2nd stage, that's not necessarily the case. Anyway, no matter what, the champion of this year's freshman competition will definitely be ours. Xiao Yan, who was the 3rd place, comforted Lee Chungkun who was emotional. They have received a lot of devil training arranged by the family, so naturally they don't pay attention to Luo Ling, a flower that grows in the greenhouse. The 4 people present are the winning lottery of the winner. Lee Chungkun and Lee Lizzie from the Lee family who specialize in ground and rock. And the Xiao family who specializes in fire, Xiao Yan. As members of the hermit family, they have been treated strictly since they were young, and they often haunt various fields and secret places to exercise. Before the age of 18, this kind of exercise never stopped, and it was not until he was an adult that he was admitted to Kunlun University. Having gone through such hardships, met Luo Ling who was admired by many stars, and received a lot of high-quality resources breeder since he was a child, he would naturally think that he is a flower in a greenhouse, and he is not a rival at all compared with members of the hermit family. Lee Chungkun suddenly remembered the past many years ago, which he heard from the housekeeper of the Lee family. If I remember correctly, Luo Ling's father, that is, Luo Hongji, is the current dragon elite. Back then, it seemed that Kai's father had completely abused her. So this is the current dragon elite. I think Adfei must be the winner, that Luo family, let's go away. Is that right, Kair? While speaking, the corners of Lee Chungkun's mouth turned up slightly, and he looked at Ying Kair with a complacent look. The latter did not lie. Ying Nongtian, who defeated Luo Hongji back then, was Ying Kaiwu's father. It's just that Ying Kair didn't think he could bring it to the table for this matter back then. And she is also very clear that this Lee Chungkun likes herself, so what she said just now is just to please herself. Yingkare didn't have the slightest idea about Lee Chungkun. It's all just Lee Chungkun's unrequited love for Yingkare. On the contrary, looking at Luo Ling not far away, Yuankai thought deeply. She once heard her father say that today's Dragon Elite was once her father's alumni, but also his defeat. Yingkare wanted to see how strong the son raised by his father's defeated general could be. If he was eliminated early in the freshman competition, then it seems that he is just a child of a family that does not live up to his name. Seeing that Yingkare did not respond, Lee Chungkun seemed a little anxious. Kire, what do you think that kid surnamed Luo is doing? You can't be in love with him, are you? As soon as these words came out, Yingkare frowned slightly. If you dare to talk nonsense again, believe it or not, I will tear your mouth apart. Although Yingkare only ranked 4th in the points ranking, this does not directly prove that his strength is weaker than Lee Chungkun and Xiao Yan. The ranking of points will be affected by many situations. As Lee Sung-kun said before, it was precisely because Luo Ling met a Totem Agron that he was able to get a high score of 10,000 at one time. Otherwise, if you want to achieve such a high score, you won't be able to play for 3 days and 3 nights in a row. If you don't know how to flatter, then don't. I accidentally slapped the horse's hoof, and I was the one who was injured. Sitting next to Yingkare, Lee Lizzie couldn't help complaining. He and Lee Chungkun are also from the Lee family, distant cousins. However, Lee Lizzie is the direct descendant of the Lee family and is orthodox. Lee Chungkun is a collateral lineage. If it weren't for his extremely high talent like a monster, it would be impossible for Lee Chungkun to be taken into the family by the direct lineage of the Lee family for training. Therefore, in terms of blood, Lee Lizzie naturally wanted to appear more arrogant. If it weren't for Lee Chungkun being a little older, I'm afraid he wouldn't even be willing to call cousin. Stop arguing, we are in the same group. It's a mess before the game even starts, isn't it a joke? No matter what, we must kill this Luo Ling first. He got so much limelight in the freshman test, we must show him some color. Xiao Yan's words were silent, and no one answered, which seemed a bit awkward. But he didn't care. He calmed down the impetuous atmosphere just now, and showed off his ability to control the field in front of Lee Lizzie. At this moment, Xiao Yan felt that he must have been well received by Lee Lizzie. Attention all freshmen. Freshmen who have been called, please go to the ring to prepare for the competition. Just then, the stadium's announcement sounded. Luo Ling gradually stepped onto the stage 5. At the same time, the other 9 freshmen were also ready to go, and each of them showed a nervous or calm expression on their faces. Ling Shui shouted from the stage, Luo Ling, come on. 10-2, it's quite simple for you. What you said is correct. In terms of Luo Ling's current strength, not only Ling Shui, but even other students think that he is the strongest. After all, in Kunlun University's field survival test for freshmen, no one has ever been able to directly destroy Totem Pokemon, and it was Totem Agron. Pokemon like Agron is so powerful that even if it is not a totem, it is not easy to deal with. It is enough to see how strong Luo Ling is in the same age group. As a result, there was a phenomenon where the melee turned into a gang fight. There were a total of 10 contestants on the stage, and Luo Ling was surrounded by people. Not because of being targeted by everyone, but because Luo Ling is too strong. If he is not eliminated first, no matter who encounters him in the end, there will only be a dead end. In terms of singles, I am afraid that no one can match Luo Ling. All players, please prepare and choose the Pokemon to play. When the referee gave the order, the other 9 players threw out Pokeballs one after another. A total of 9 Pokemon appeared on the field, including Manula, Abandoned Monkey, Venusaur, Persian, Arcanine, Machamp, Farfetch'd, Marowak, and Swellow. All eyes were on Luo Ling, wanting to see which Pokemon he would send to fight. Luo Ling sneered, it's up to you, Dragonair. Dragonair appeared on stage as Luo Ling threw the Pokeball. It's quasi-god, but Mikey is not the same as everyone thinks. In such a big melee, those with strong strength will naturally become living targets, and they will definitely be beaten up by many people together. When everyone thought that Luo Ling would definitely play the Roaring Moon. Unexpectedly, it was Dragonair that appeared in front of my eyes. However, Dragonair is also a quasi-god, and its strength is still not to be underestimated. It looks like you won't go to war yourself until you knock me down first. In this case, let's all go together, don't waste time. Luo Ling naturally understood his situation, so he dispatched Dragonair, which had an advantage in speed. Manula, use Fury Swipes. Abandoned Monkey, use Tianzifold. Venusaur, use Rattan Weaving. Persian, use Takedown. A total of 9 Pokemon attacked together, all heading towards Dragonair. But Luo Ling didn't panic at all, and gave the order very calmly. Dragonair, 2. Jump up to avoid enemy attacks, use Dragon Dance. Proposal. Bump. There was only a sound of Pokemon colliding with each other, and all 9 Pokemon that attacked together collided. And Dragonair took a leap and used Dragon Dance in midair. Not only did it successfully avoid the attacks of so many enemies, but it also increased its own speed. Others are still not giving up. Swell, use Wing Attack. Flying-type Swellow reacted quickly, and relaunched the attack after a while, concentrating his power on the wings, and rushed towards the Dragonair, which was still falling in midair. Originally thought that with Swellow's quick response, this time the attack would definitely hit. But I didn't expect that the moment he was about to touch Dragonair, the opponent suddenly accelerated and landed on the ground. At the same time, the other 8 Pokemon have been waiting at the ground for a long time. The moment he saw Dragonair, he rushed over in unison. At this moment, a smile suddenly appeared on the corner of Luo Ling's mouth. That's it, don't panic, continue to use Dragon Dance to avoid the enemy's attack. Glue. Dot dot. Okay. Many Pokemon launched attacks one after another, but Dragonair's speed itself is fast and is still improving. Every time the enemy is about to hit, he can successfully evade the opponent's attack with graceful range and graceful posture, and the speed will continue to become faster. At the beginning of the game, the other 9 Pokemon may be able to keep up with Dragonair's speed. But after Dragonair used Dragon Dance several times, it gradually couldn't keep up with the opponent's pace. Even using the long-range attack skills, they couldn't touch Dragonair's body. Seeing that after using Dragon Dance several times in a row, the speed has basically reached the upper limit, Luo Ling decided to quickly resolve this battle. After all, if you hit 9, the more you drag it on, the worse it will be for you. Dragonair, run to the center of the stage. When Manula is rushing, use Dragon Tail on the ground rotation. According to Luo Ling's instructions, Dragonair leapt up while being chased by other Pokemon, and then fell in the middle of the competition platform. At that moment, center on yourself and only come out with Dragon Tail. Bump, bump, bump. But any Pokemon trying to get close to Dragonair will be hit by the spinning Dragon Tail and fall to the edge of the stage, losing the qualification to continue fighting. And due to the rapid action, less than half of the original 9 Pokemon were left immediately. Good job. Just keep using Dragon Tail, get close to other Pokemon, and knock them all out. Dragonair's response was quick, and when it received the instruction, it immediately approached the nearest Persian. Before the opponent could react, he was slapped on the waist by the flying Dragon Tail, rolled several times in succession, and finally fell under the competition stage. The same goes for other Pokemon. With only one self-rotating Dragon Tail, he knocked all the other 9 Pokemon out of the ring, even the flying Dachaian did not escape this fate. The game is over, Dragonair wins. Luo Ling successfully advanced. When the referee announced the result, the people watching the game were very surprised. It was agreed that in a knockout match, 10 out of 10 and 2 out of 10, why is Luo Ling the only one left? This is against the rules. But according to the rules of the game, Pokemon cannot leave the ring. Even Swellow, who was knocked into the air at the end, lost the qualification to make up for promotion because he ended up on the side of the stage. Proposal. Knowing that he won, Dragonair came to Luo Ling with great excitement, and kept rubbing his head against Luo Ling's clothes. It's very beautifully done, it's a must. While stroking Dragonair's head and body, Luo Ling took out energy cubes to replenish his strength. Chapter 82 Luo Ling is angry. Rumbling Moon vs Tyranitar. While Dragonair replenished his energy, he was also cheering for the victory just now. Well done, let's keep working hard. Luo Ling took the Dragonair back into the Pokeball and left from platform 5. This scene was all seen by Lee Chungkun and others. I didn't expect Luo Ling to have 2 brushes. But compared with me, it's still a long way off. Looking at Luo Ling's performance just now, it is really amazing. But Xiao Yan doesn't think Luo Ling will be his rival. It's just a rotating Dragon Tail, if you want to fight against his Fire-type Pokemon, you must lose the fate. Lee Chungkun glanced at Luo Ling, and hearing Xiao Yan's words, dissatisfaction surged into his heart instantly. I thought how powerful it was, but this is it. What's the difference between trash and garbage? If he meets me, I won't let him hold on for a round. I wanted to complain about Luo Ling's lack of strength. But unexpectedly, as soon as the words fell, Ying Keir suddenly said to Lee Chungkun lightly, "Don't be stubborn, you are not his rival." As soon as these words came out, Lee Chungkun was shocked instantly. While the anger in my heart was ignited, I realized that the person who spoke was Ying Keir, and I suppressed my fiery temper, and responded awkwardly, "How is that possible? Whether in terms of Pokemon level or potential, I am definitely no worse than Luo Ling. Why are you so sure I'm not his rival? Anyway, I will definitely avoid a difficult fight in the end. I will speak with my strength." Faced with Lee Chungkun's dissatisfaction, Ying Keir gave the other party a supercilious look, and did not continue talking. Instead, he turned his head and continued to look at Luo Ling on the stage, looking thoughtful. Originally, he wanted to win the favor of Ying Keir, but such a fuss made the atmosphere at the scene extremely awkward. Xiao Yan, even the May 10th office, hurriedly praised him. Brother Lee is the proud son of the Lee family's generation, so naturally he cannot be compared to Luo Ling. That guy Luo Ling, what qualifications does he have to appear in front of our brother Lee? Such a compliment would be quite useful to Lee Chungkun. He was still very angry at first, but after hearing these words, he immediately smiled. Young Master Xiao is still right. However, Mr. Xiao's strength is not bad. Seeing their lovers complimenting each other constantly, Yuan Kaier and Li Lizzie seemed a little speechless. Watching 2 people talking is like watching a joke. Normal, just treat it as having fun. Among the group of 4, probably only Ying Kaier knew the difficulty. Her eyes moved, and her eyebrows trembled slightly. The Dragon Dance and Dragon Tail moves that Luo Ling used just now were much more difficult than they looked. As a winner who has practiced the same moves, Luo Ling seems to have changed. Not just the 4 of them. Even the teachers who were watching the battle noticed the special Dragon Tail move. Use the previously increased speed to increase your own rotation frequency. Finally, adding the effect of centrifugal force, such a Dragon Tail is really interesting. Being able to come up with the trick just now is really worthy of the contrast of the Luo family. In my opinion, the first place in this year's freshman competition must be Luo Ling. Several teachers were full of praise for Luo Ling's moves just now. The teachers knew a lot about Dragon Pokemon, but they were also amazed. It's too early to book the championship now. However, Luo Ling's performance has indeed exceeded the level of his peers. In terms of strength, he is indeed the most popular candidate to win the championship this year. When all the teachers were discussing, Wang Xuans, who was also watching the match, praised Luo Ling. Wang Zan is different from other teachers like Mikey. He is the grade teacher of this year's freshmen, and he is also the head teacher of the first class. According to the tradition of Kunlun University, when freshmen are divided into classes every year, Class 1 must be the strongest among all the students. In addition, Wang Xuans is also an elite trainer. He is also Luo Hongji's junior and fan. Therefore, it is normal for him to pay special attention to Luo Ling's battle. After getting off the competition ring, Ling Shuiyi, who had been watching the match from the audience, immediately ran in front of Luo Ling with a smile on her face. That move just now was too cool. It should be a move you and Dragonair secretly practiced. Luo Ling nodded, and said, I just practiced it not long ago, even if it's the first official use today, it's not bad to use these people to practice. It's not that Luo Ling looks down on rival. It's just that the strength gap between the two sides is too great. In the case of 1 against 9, this move is just right. Please enter the second round of auditions as soon as possible. Just then, the radio sounded. Ling Shuiyi, who appeared in the second round, said hello to Luo Ling, and hurried to the ring. Luo Ling was watching the battle below. The one who shared the stage with Ling Shuiyi happened to be Lee Chungkun. Before taking the stage, Lee Chungkun noticed that the relationship between Ling Shuiyi and Luo Ling was unusual. Since he had met Ling Shuiyi before the battle against Luo Ling, it was a good time to take out his anger on him. Sweep the house, come out, Tyranitar. Bump. The huge figure of Tyranitar appeared in everyone's sight, and that strong sense of oppression instantly swept the audience, increasing the pressure on everyone. Tyranitar is a quasi-god. In the face of such a powerful strength, the hearts of other people competing on the same stage have already begun to shake. At the same time, the Tyranitar stomped on the stomping tantrum, kicking up a lot of dust on the ground. There is more and more dust, and the environment on site has turned into a sandstorm. The moment Luo Ling saw Tyranitar in the audience, he immediately used the data eye to check the information. Open black lens bracket Tyranitar, rock evil, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket level, 56 close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket character, serious close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket first ability. Sandstorm. When the Pokemon comes on stage, the weather will change to sandstorm and last for a while. Close black lens bracket. Second ability. Tension. Make enemies unable to eat berries. Individual value. HP 31, physical attack 31, special attack 31, physical defense 31, special defense 31, speed 31. Open black lens bracket skills. Fire Fang, Ice Fang, Thunder Fang, Dark Pulse, Earthquake, Stone Edge, Hyper Beam, Crunch, Mud Shot, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket qualification. Champion close black lens bracket. A Tyranitar with double abilities, a champion level quasi-god, and more importantly, this Tyranitar has a full level of 56. Even taller than the Totem Agron I encountered before. This made Luo Ling sweat for Ling Shuiyi. Ling Shuiyi is probably not Lee Chungkun's rival, but luckily the rule is decimal. As long as Ling Shuiyi guarantees that she gets the last promotion spot, she can still continue to compete. Come out, Tail. Ling Shuiyi took out the Pokemon with the highest tacit understanding with her. At the same time, the other contestants have also decided on the partners they will use for the battle. However, as soon as this came up, the environment immediately turned into a sandstorm, which was very unfavorable to many Pokemon. But for Tyranitar, sandstorm weather can make his power more effective. With only one earthquake, the other Pokemon were unprepared, and they were directly shocked to the audience. This is just the beginning. Tyranitar eliminated 7 people in one go. When the sandstorm was over, Lee Chungkun suddenly said to the only person who was not eliminated besides Ling Shuiyi, "Don't come to meddle in this battle. The reason why you were not eliminated just now is just to save a place for you to advance. If you don't want to cause trouble, get out of here." As soon as these words came out, everyone present in the audience immediately understood that Lee Chungkun wanted to single out Ling Shuiyi. Just now, it was just clearing the obstacles for myself. Moreover, the purpose of setting aside a promotion position is to prevent Ling Shuiyi from advancing. Although this approach is not illegal, it is really disgusting. Ling Shuiyi's eyes were piercing, and she looked at Lee Chungkun with anger. If you want to fight alone, you can say it directly, there is no need to humiliate me in this way. Don't worry, I will try my best to participate in this game. While speaking, Ninetales also howled together. It could feel the breath of rage on Ling Shuiyi's body, and became serious. Lee Chungkun sneered very disdainfully. I'd like to see what you have to defeat my Tyranitar. Tyranitar, use Mud Shot. Tyranitar roared, and under his feet, the ground suddenly became softer, producing a lot of mud. Then, he quickly threw the dirt to Ninetales and blocked the starting position. Although Ninetales was not hit directly, the ground was full of mud. When his feet accidentally stepped on them, they were stuck tightly, affecting his actions. Seeing this, Lee Chungkun showed an excited smile and shouted, "Now, use Hyper Beam." Tyranitar took aim at Ninetales, who was immobilized by the mud, and opened his mouth to aim. In the next second, Hyper Beam shot out from the mouth. Ninetales, use Ice Beam. Since there is no way to escape, you can only use all your strength to fight. Even though Ling Shui fought hard, but due to Tyranitar's strong level suppression, Ninetales is not rival at all. After a flash of daylight, facing Tyranitar, whose level was as high as 56, Ninetales could only end in defeat in the end. Ninetales. Ling Shui stood in front of Ninetales, who was lying on the ground. Seeing how seriously injured it was, she felt very sad inside. Fortunately, there were teachers from the medical department on the scene, and they hurried forward to treat Ninetales. Seeing Lee Chungkun with a smug smile, Luo Ling's eyes became cold. The man in front of him has become a thorn in Luo Ling's side. Lee Chungkun also noticed Luo Ling, who was looking at him, showing a very smug expression, and responded to Luo Ling without showing any weakness. The two looked at each other like this, their eyes became sharp. Looking at Ling Shui, who was defeated and crying, Luo Ling had no choice but to go forward to comfort her. Don't worry, I will definitely help you retaliate. I will definitely beat that guy up for you. Ling Shui nodded silently, she just hoped that Ninetales was okay. With the level being completely suppressed, Ninetales was already extremely weak at this time, even taking the Hyper Beam's damage directly. Luo Ling followed Ling Shui to the Pokemon infirmary. It was only when Ninetales' condition improved and his vital signs stabilized that he breathed a sigh of relief. It was only then that Luo Ling asked Ling Shui, "Do you know the person who fought against you just now?" Ling Shui shook her head, this is the most confusing part. The way Lee Chungkun killed him just now seemed like he had revenge for killing his father, and wanted to put Ninetales to death. But he and Ling Shui. I don't even know, why do you have to lay down such a heavy hand? In the first stage of melee, it is actually enough to ensure that you can advance, there is no need to fight so fiercely. What's more, that Tyranitar's level is so high, even if the other 9 Pokemon team up together, it is definitely not the opponent's rival. That being the case, there is no reason to be heavy-handed. I am afraid that the answer to this doubt can only be obtained after the actual meeting with Lee Chungkun. The 10-2 melee arena soon ended. Originally there were more than 1,000 freshmen. After this first stage of elimination, only about 200 freshmen were still active on the competition stage. It is a pity that Ling Shui did not pass the first stage of the knockout round. But this debt, Luo Ling will help her pay it back. Starting from the second stage, a 3v3 battle mode will be adopted for 1/2 individual knockout matches. As for the contestants, they are also randomly arranged by the school. Luo Ling, as a player who came to the stage in the early stage, has only one goal in his heart, and that is Lee Chungkun. Coincidentally, according to the current battle information, the two will meet after 4 or 5 rounds. Along the way, Luo Ling used Dragonair to pass 5 levels and kill 6 generals. Soon, I met Lee Chungkun. I finally met you, the only freshman with more than 10,000 points. Think how lucky you are to meet a Totem Pokemon. If you don't have that Totem Pokemon, I'm afraid you only have 2 or 3,000 points. With such strength, you are also worthy of being number 1. As soon as he took the stage, he kept venting his inner dissatisfaction. He was brooding over the final points ranking of the previous field survival test. Obviously I have worked hard for 3 days and 3 nights, and it seems that I have already broken 9,000 points. Judging from the results of previous years, I thought I would be able to secure the first place this year. Unexpectedly, Luo Ling suddenly appeared on the way, and the points directly exceeded 10,000. This made him work so hard, the duck in his mouth flew away, can he not be angry? Moreover, Lee Chungkun wanted to use this opportunity to fight Luo Ling to eliminate him. Fortunately, in front of Win Kair, perform well and win the heart. So that's why you hit Ling Shui so hard. Luo Ling responded coldly, speaking in a calm voice, but it gave people a chilling feeling. So what, you want to prepare to help her retaliate? Then I want to see how good you are. For some reason, Lee Chungkun suddenly felt a chill down his back. He always felt an indescribable coldness emanating from Luo Ling's body. Originally, I wanted to continue to show my majesty, but I always felt that my entire aura was being suppressed by the opponent, and I was even a little out of breath. The aura emanating from Luo Ling's body made people feel suffocated. Come out, Tyranitar, show all your strength and blast Luo Ling and his Pokemon to pieces. As Lee Chungkun threw the Pokeball forward, Tyranitar appeared in front of him. Stomping Tantrum, ability played, and a sandstorm suddenly appeared on the scene. On this looming battlefield, Luo Ling closed his eyes and let out a cold snort. Just because of a point ranking. Ridiculous. Today, I will hold you accountable for what you said and what you did. Come out, Rumbling Moon. Show your strongest posture. Luo Ling throws a Pokemon into a sandstorm. Bump. A burst of red light flashed, and the figure of Rumbling Moon appeared in the sandstorm. Its eyes flashed red, and it saw Tyranitar, who was also in the sandstorm. 2 Pokemon meet in such a harsh environment. The battle is imminent. Chapter 83 Ancient Activity. Beat Tyranitar. Roaring Moon, use Sunny. As soon as he came on stage, Luo Ling directly robbed the weather. This is actually different from the game. In the real world, it's not about who goes first or changing the climate, but about the strength of Pokemon. Under normal circumstances, only the strong side can stabilize the climate conditions they want and not be robbed. Only when there are 2 Pokemon with similar strengths can the climate coexist. Roaring Moon raised its head to the sky and roared. Even in the dusty sky, its majestic growl could still be heard. In the next second, the sunlight in soaring in the sky became more intense, penetrating through the transparent roof of the stadium, and shining on the match scene. But an unexpected scene happened. The weather of sandstorm is still maintained, and the sunshine of sunny day is still unabated. This means that Luo Ling's Roaring Moon and Lee Chungkun's Tyranitar are equally powerful. Lee Chungkun was shocked. His own Tyranitar was capable of sweeping the entire field, but Luo Ling's Rumbling Moon was actually quite powerful. This made him unable to sit still. In the melee in the first stage, Lori took out Dragonair. I thought Dragonair was already Luo Ling's strongest strength if he could hit 9 with one hit, but he didn't expect the special form of Salamence in front of him to be that. However, this also made Lee Chungkun, who was belatedly aware, suddenly feel that things became more interesting. That's great. Only in this way will I have more sense of honor after defeating you. Tyranitar, use Stone Edge. Before the referee called to start, Lee Chungkun took the lead. This did not conform to the rules of the battle, but when the referee was about to stop, there was a sudden sound of stopping in the earphones. It's okay, just let them. It is an order issued by the high-level executive of the school. Since even the school agreed to the battle, the referee nodded and continued to watch Tyranitar summon a large number of sharp stones, and threw them at Rumbling Moon with a wave of his hand. And because of sunny day, when the Rumbling Moon was bathed in sunlight, it immediately activated the ancient active ability. Its whole body was covered by a layer of white light 03, and with a roar into soaring in the sky, the strength of Roaring Moon was strengthened. Even in the face of a large number of sharp stones flying over, he jumped into the air and dodged them all. Roaring Moon, use Dragon Dance. Boom. At the moment of flying into the sky, and under the effect of Dragon Dance, the speed and offensive ability of Rumbling Moon have been improved. This made the original strongest ability not speed, suddenly changed, and the speed was also very poor. Even in an environment that is likely to be attacked by sandstorms, it can appear to be able to do a job with ease, and keep avoiding the dangers that are likely to occur in sandstorms. However, Lee Chungkun didn't seem to notice Rumbling Moon's ability. Light has speed but not strength, and it can't beat my Tyranitar. Tyranitar, use Mud Shot. This was the trick he used to deal with Ling Shuai and Ninetales before. At that time, Luo Ling was watching the game from the audience, of course he knew what the opponent wanted to do next. If hit by these mud, the movement speed will be greatly restricted. When the time comes to use Hyper Beam again, although it is impossible to be seriously injured like Ninetales, it will definitely consume a lot of physical strength. Roaring Moon, keep flying up and use Scale Shot in sky. While Tyranitar was still summoning the dirt, Rumbling Moon had already arrived at the very sky of the gymnasium. With its huge body, it looks so dazzling under the sunlight. The feathers on his body kept shooting down, just colliding with the mud thrown by Tyranitar, cancelling it out. It's just that the mud was scattered everywhere, which inevitably made the people watching the battle quickly avoid it. It's just to watch the battle, you don't want to get yourself covered in mud. However, some people also found that the material of the feathers shot out from the Roaring Moon is a bit hard, which is not the same as Mikey imagined. If you look closely, it seems to be Normal's feathers. More like dragon scale. This excited many of the students present who were also in the Breeder Dragon Breath Pokemon. Everyone hurriedly tried to pick up the feathers of the Roaring Moon scattered around, just to be able to breed their own Pokemon and make the Pokemon stronger. Luo Ling didn't care about these things. These feathers are renewable to Rumble Moon anyway. Just treat it as a gift to these people. What is more important now is to defeat Lee Chungkun. Roaring Moon, use Sacrifice Attack. With Luo Ling's order, Rumbling Moon rushed straight to Tyranitar on the competition stage with the power acceleration of a high-speed dive. Naturally, Lee Chungkun would not be timid. Since Hongyu has already used such a powerful move, he will never let Tyranitar dodge. With his character, he is sure that Tyranitar will directly force. Tyranitar, Dark Pulse. The moment Tyranitar raised his head and opened his mouth, a shadow-colored spiral air flow was released from his mouth, directly hitting Rumbling Moon. Roaring Moon mustered all her strength, and while holding onto Dark Pulse, she was still rushing forward with all her strength. Both Pokemon released their full strength. Using all their strength, one wanted to resist the attack of Rumbling Moon, and the other had no sign of dodging after catching Dark Pulse abruptly. Come on, don't lose to rival. Lee Chungkun shouted, full of momentum, which made Tyranitar feel the spirit of trainer, and Dark Pulse's airflow became stronger than before. But on the other side, Luo Ling still did not fall behind. It's just Dark Pulse, don't fall down here. Come on, disperse Dark Pulse. While speaking, Luo Ling attached the power of Yulong to the body of Rumbling Moon. At this moment, the Roaring Moon is like the god of war possessed by Normal, constantly making the sound of dragon chant, gathering all the strength of the whole body at the top. Boom. In the next second, Rumbling Moon not only resisted Dark Pulse's attack, but also reversed it, pressing all of his body on Tyranitar's body. How can that be? Lee Chungkun couldn't believe what was happening before his eyes. In terms of strength alone, Tyranitar can be said to be a strong player. In the case of confrontation, he actually lost. Fortunately, it was just a wave of attack and could not represent the final result. Get up. Use Rock to seal the field, don't give the opponent a chance to counterattack. Tyranitar dragged his heavy body, quickly got up from the ground, and then slammed on the ground again. At this moment, the entire competition platform is constantly protruding upwards with a large number of rocks, dividing the entire competition venue into different areas. Not only that, these rocks quickly extended upwards, successfully protecting Tyranitar under the rocks, preventing the roaring moon in the air from attacking easily. With rock blocking his vision and range of attack, Lee Chungkun finally managed to win the round. Rumbling Moon hovered in sky on the stage, keeping his eyes on Tyranitar hiding behind the rock block. For a moment, Tyranitar actually used these rocks to keep sliding his claws on the rock, making harsh and sharp sounds. After hearing these sounds, the roaring moon flying in the air couldn't help but covered his ears with his hands, and was so upset that he lost the patience to keep staring at Tyranitar. But it was precisely because of this that he fell into Lee Chungkun's scheme. Tyranitar, jump up through these rocks and use the Fire Fang. Aim at the opponent's wings. Bump, bump, bump. Every time Tyranitar jumps, it will cause a wave of tremors. After all, it is huge and heavy, so the moment it jumps into the air, it does not stay for long. Roaring Moon, fly back quickly, don't be caught by the opponent. The bite force of Tyranitar is not low, and the Fire Fang also has the effect of burning flames. If it is accidentally hit, the speed advantage of the roar will no longer exist. Fortunately, the sharp sound effect didn't last too long. Seeing that he was about to be caught by the Tyranitar flying into the sky, Rumbling Moon quickly flew back, widening the distance between himself and the enemy. Good job. Take this opportunity and use Dragon Claw. Rumbling Moon made a somersault in the air, and quickly came behind Tyranitar, and threw its claws at its back. Swish. Claw marks appeared on Tyranitar's back, causing it to howl in pain. Don't waste an opportunity, grab it and drag it down. Tyranitar endured the pain in his back, and actually grabbed Rumbling Moon's claws with his backhand. When Tyranitar fell because of gravity, Rumbling Moon was brought back to the ground by him. The two Pokemon fell heavily on the rocks and suffered considerable damage. Tyranitar, use Hyper Beam, don't let them escape. Lee Chungkun didn't care about Tyranitar's injured back at all, and immediately gave orders in order to win this time. Tyranitar fought back the wound and opened his mouth to use Hyper Beam. But because of the pain and injury, it can be clearly felt that this time using Hyper Beam, the stockpile time is slightly longer than before. It was precisely because of this that Rumbling Moon was able to quickly leave Tyranitar's attack range and fly back into soaring in the sky. However, Tyranitar also worked hard enough, and finally the stockpile succeeded, and the released Hyper Beam followed the trajectory of Rumbling Moon flying. But the back is already injured, and the moment of releasing Hyper Beam will also involve the wound behind, which greatly reduces the power of Hyper Beam. But even so, when the light accumulated on the roof of the stadium, it still caused a lot of damage. There are many fallen buildings on the roof, and the teacher on the scene quickly arranged for the students to leave the dangerous area in an orderly manner. But the battle is not over. Keep using Hyper Beam and I won't move. The Tyranitar on the ground is still aiming at the fast-moving Roaring Moon, but the powerful moves are avoided, constantly destroying the surrounding buildings. Even though Tyranitar seemed to be struggling, Lee Chungkun seemed to be possessed. He didn't care whether Tyranitar's current situation could support the use of such a destructive move, he was just stubborn and wanted to win. If you go on like this, don't you think about Tyranitar? Luo Ling couldn't help frowning and questioning. He didn't expect Lee Chungkun to be such a person, he would ignore his Pokemon. Is such a trainer really worthy of having such a powerful Pokemon as Tyranitar? Tyranitar is my Pokemon, and what it does is my decision. As long as I give an order, he must carry it out. Luo Ling, you die with your Pokemon. Lee Chungkun roared and let out a maniacal laugh. And then, continue to command Tyranitar to continuously attack the Roaring Moon flying in the air. Crazy. This man is crazy. Luo Ling stopped arguing with Lee Chungkun. He just felt a little aggrieved for Tyranitar, and it was Tyranitar's misfortune to meet such a trainer. Luo Ling could also feel that Tyranitar was wailing from the pain of the wound. But because the trainer has already issued instructions, it has to be executed. And after using a powerful move like Hyper Beam, Tyranitar will also suffer the backlash effect of this move itself. It is a very big 217 blow to Pokemon to suffer such suffering while already injured. In that case, let me help you free yourself. Luo Ling took a deep breath and let it out slowly. Roaring Moon, find a way to bypass Hyper Beam, hug Tyranitar from behind, use Tailwind and Gravity Acceleration, use Takedown on ground. Boom. The moment Rumbling Moon received the order, he regained the previous contest condition. His eyes released red light, and with the blessing of the power of the dragon, he detected Tyranitar's next trajectory. Relying on the prediction, Rumbling Moon successfully avoided the Hyper Beam. Although Flying's trajectory was slightly detoured, he still managed to get behind Tyranitar. Afterwards, he grabbed the opponent again, used all his strength to flap his wings, and slowly brought the huge Tyranitar into the air. It's just that the Tyranitar is still shaking non-stop at this time, so the rising speed seems a bit slow. But fortunately, Tyranitar used Hyper Beam to consume a lot of stamina. Rumbling Moon finally took Tyranitar and flying through the glass above the gymnasium and came to soaring in the sky. Spinning around in the air a few times, stepping on the Tyranitar, and then quickly swooping towards the ground. Call. The sound of howling wind rang in Tyranitar's ears. At this moment, it no longer has the strength to use such a powerful move as Hyper Beam. And because of the reflection effect of Hyper Beam, it has no way to make any actions now. Even if Lee Chungkun was by its side at this time, no matter what instructions it gave, it would be useless. Bangira slowly opened her eyes, and looked weakly at the Roaring Moon with red eyes. At this moment, it suddenly understood the outcome of this battle. As if accepting normal calmly, Tyranitar let out a breath slowly, showing a calm expression. Boom! Accompanied by a violent roar. The stage of the competition was directly bombarded by two behemoths. The broken pieces were scattered all around. The stage that was originally fine did not expect to experience such an ordeal. Rumbling Moon's body pressed tightly against Tyranitar's body, and when all the dust dispersed, the sandstorm and sunny day climate gradually disappeared. The ancient active ability originally activated by the Roaring Moon also lost its effect. However, Tyranitar was already down. Tyranitar, no battle. Salamence wins. In the eyes of many people, Rumbling Moon is a new form of Salamence. And there is no more information, so many people still call the Roaring Month Salamence. Luo Ling didn't care. Anyway, everyone knows what it means. Well done, this battle is perfect. Luo Ling gently stroked the somewhat weak Rumbling Moon. After all, facing a Tyranitar that was beyond her own level, Rumbling Moon had to spend a lot of effort to defeat him. Chapter 84. The legendary rat-headed Dilong. Looking at the tired Roaring Moon, Luo Ling felt a little distressed. You know, the level of Tyranitar just now is 56, which is higher than the level of the Totem Pokemon we fought against before. Being able to leapfrog Tyranitar, Rumbling Moon's performance is already very strong. If it is possible, Luo Ling certainly hopes that Rumbling Moon can eat some energy cubes to replenish his physical strength now. Unfortunately, this is a 3v3 battle. The game isn't over yet. The referee saw the situation on the scene, and there is no way to continue to use this battlefield at present. Because of the playing field, please, come out, Excadrill. Before the referee finished speaking, Lee Chungkun quickly retracted the Tyranitar and released one Excadrill. I thought that I was a freshman, and I might not be used to it if I continued to fight in this kind of ruined arena, and I wouldn't be able to show my full strength. But since the players have no objections, let's continue the battle. Anyway, in a real battle environment, there are indeed many unexpected situations, and the destruction of the environment is only one of many special situations. As a student of Kunlun University, it is really necessary to develop the ability to adapt to different venues. The game continues. The referee continued to stare at the field. Luo Ling also opened the eyes of data. Open black lens bracket Excadrill, ground, steel, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket level, 54 close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket character, naughty close black lens bracket. The first ability, sand removal, will not be affected by sandstorm weather. In sandstorm weather, the speed will be greatly improved. Second ability, the power of sand. In sandstorm weather, the power of rock, steel, and ground moves will be increased. Individual value. HP 31, physical attack 31, special attack 31, physical defense 31, special defense 31, speed 31. Open black lens bracket skills. Rapid spin, horn drill, sandstorm, dig, earthquake, rock slide, metal claw, bulldoze, mud shot, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket qualification. Champion close black lens bracket. Hey guys, another Pokemon with double abilities, and the level is also over level 50. And with the blessing of ability, the speed of this Excadrill will increase, which is even higher than the Roaring Moon with Dragon Dance. Coupled with the blessing of the power of sand, the overall ability is comparable to that of a quasi-god. This is the real desert god of war. Even if the sandstorm weather is over now, but once the Excadrill comes up, it will definitely change the weather. It seems that the tactics at the beginning of this round should be the same as before. Excadrill, change the weather to a sandstorm. Roaring Moon, use sunny day. Luo Ling and Lee Chungkun gave orders almost at the same time. After Excadrill kicked up a burst of dust on the ground, he activated the two drills in both hands, gradually intensifying the dust, and finally formed a sandstorm that covered the entire field. The Roaring Moon flew directly to the top of the gymnasium, neighing towards the soaring in the sky, and under the sunlight, while opening Sunny Day, it also activated its ancient active ability. The two Pokemon immediately entered the contest condition of the battle, staring at each other tightly without leaving any room. This time, Lee Chungkun seemed to have learned to be smart. He was no longer as reckless as in the previous round, but let Excadrill continuously throw sticky mud into the air. Since Mud Slap's move is not very powerful, it mainly interferes with rival. Therefore, when Excadrill used this trick, it was not only very fast, but also in large numbers. A large number of mud clods were flying in the air, which also caused the trajectory of the roaring flying to be affected. While avoiding rival's attack, it is also very difficult to replan flying's route. Roaring Moon, use Dragon Breath. After a burst of stockpile, Rumbling Moon spit out a powerful storm towards the ground, successfully blocking Excadrill's continued attack. Immediately afterwards, under Lorraine's command, Rumbling Moon resorted to breaking swipe. The huge tail hit the ground directly, destroying the playing field that had already endured too much. However, this is not very useful for the Excadrill, which is the ground system. It directly used Dig to escape to the other corner of the field, and was not greatly affected. Rush over and grab the opponent's tail. With Lee Chungkun's order, the Excadrill, whose speed had been increased in the sandstorm, flew to normal and charged in front of Rumbling Moon, who was still standing on the ground, grabbing him by the tail. Such a speed, even the roaring eyes are surprised. Unexpectedly, in the sandstorm weather, Excadrill's speed is terribly fast. Before even reacting, the tail was forcibly grabbed by the other party. Use Dig again, take the opponent into the hole, then use Rock Slide. Lee Chungkun thought very well about this wave of combos. Luo Ling immediately bestowed the power of Yulong Yu once again, and shouted, "It's now, bite the other side, don't let go." As soon as the words fell, Yu who had just Zhongshu was dragged to the ground by the other party. For a while, the battle scene suddenly became quiet. But this kind of quietness makes people feel terrible. With the shaking of the ground at the scene, it must be the rock slide used by the leading technology. In the next second, Excadrill and Roar returned to the ground. Although Rumbling Moon suffered a lot of damage, but because he bit Excadrill tightly, the opponent also suffered the same damage. Returning to the ground, Excadrill panted heavily, trying to break free from the Roaring Moon wrapped around him. But no matter what kind of strength he used, he couldn't kick the opponent away. A confident smile gradually appeared on the corner of Luo Ling's mouth. "How strong is my move when you think it is? It seems that it is nothing more than that." To speak harsh words, Lee Chungkun would not want to lose to Luo Ling. "You're just being stubborn. Just now your Salamence took full rock slide damage. I want to see how long it lasts." As soon as the words fell, Lee Chungkun was stunned. He looked at Rumbling Moon's body suddenly exuding a white light under the sunlight, as if she was reborn from nirvana after being bathed in the sun. He frowned suddenly, not knowing what happened. When the Roaring Moon was dragged into the ground before, it was not exposed to sunlight, so it could not activate the ancient active ability. But when he returned to the ground, the sun shone down, and Rumbling Moon regained his strength immediately. It was still a little weak at first, but at this moment, the instant change is more active than before. "Roaring Moon, let this land be DC your strength for a while." Luo Ling shouted. "Bite each other tightly with Fire Fang." Rumbling Moon let out a low hissing sound, and immediately after that, many flames burst out from the teeth of Bite Excadrill. The temperature and burning sensation of the flames continuously invaded Excadrill's neck, causing him to howl. "Just now, don't give the other party a chance to breathe. Use Snarl on Excadrill." Rumbling Moon sent out a strong bite force one after another, biting Excadrill's neck one after another, and then opened his mouth and let out a sharp growl. Since the two Pokemon are so close together, Excadrill has no chance to dodge. Withstanding two attacks in succession, Excadrill lost his mind in an instant. With the blessing of ancient activity, the offensive ability of Rumbling Moon itself has been greatly strengthened. Even in the face of the desert god of war, it will definitely not be at a disadvantage. However, Lee Chungkun seemed to be the same as before. He didn't care whether his Pokemon was hurt or not, he just gave orders blindly. "Excadrill, take advantage of this distance and use Crush Claw." The moment he heard the command, Excadrill was like a normal madman. He didn't know what to do at first, but the goal in the next second was very clear. Staring straight at the Roaring Moon, he used the electric drill with both hands to continuously attack it. Hiss, hiss, swish. Rumbling Moon was hit several times in succession. Under the action of Crush Claw, several scars could be seen on Rumbling Moon's abdomen, and these scars continued to affect it. The pain hit, making Roaring Moon weaker than before. This is a special effect attached to Crush Claw. After successfully hitting the enemy, there is a chance that the enemy's defense will become weaker than before. Use Sand Tomb. Before Roaring Moon could slow down, Lee Chungkun exerted his strength again. This time, Excadrill's eyes glowed, he raised his hands to rotate the electric drill, and directly hit the ground between it and the roar. Boom. The ground began to collapse gradually. The weather itself was a sandstorm, and the ground suddenly turned into a stream of quicksand. But any Pokemon who set foot in this area will have their feet restricted by quicksand. At this moment, Rumbling Moon, which has not yet reflied, is also affected. "Fly up. Get out of that area." Luo Ling roared. But fortunately, Roaring Moon's wings were not injured, only his abdomen was attacked, and he quickly flew into the soaring in the sky, out of danger. Boom. It may be that the wave of attack just now felt that he had been humiliated, and the roar was tearing at Excadrill in soaring in the sky. Luo Ling also felt the mood that Rumbling Moon wanted to defeat Excadrill. "Roaring Moon, I can feel your mood. Let's give each other a hard blow together." At this moment, both sides were enveloped by the power of Yulong, and the tacit bond between each other was once again enhanced. Even though he had already endured a fierce attack just now, the Roaring Moon's ability was fully utilized at this time, and the gradually scarlet eyes indicated that the next attack would use all its strength. Seeing this scene, Lee Chungkun was also stunned by the aura displayed by Rumbling Moon. "Roaring Moon, the opponent has Hyper Beam, so let's use Giga Impact." Boom. Roaring Moon responded, and the loud roar went through the entire gymnasium, making everyone who heard it tremble with fear. Exactly how much he wanted to win, Luo Ling's roar actually let out such a howl. Even after Excadrill in ground heard the howl, his body couldn't help trembling slightly, showing fear. Next second, the Roaring Moon went straight down, gathering the strength of the whole body, and approached Excadrill. When the two Pokemon collided with each other, a powerful shock wave was generated, causing a large number of objects on the stage of the competition to be directly destroyed by whirlwind. Even a human has to squat down and block the violent wind and sandstorm in front with his hands, otherwise he may retreat due to unstable combat power. Giga Impact itself is a decisive move. Like Hyper Beam, it has a very powerful lethality. So once you are hit, you must be injured. Everyone at the scene raised their hearts in their throats, and everyone was looking forward to the final match of this battle. In the end, I want to see which Pokemon can continue to shine on the stage. At this moment, the battle between Luo Ling and Lee Chungkun became the focus of the whole school. When all the smoke and dust dissipated, the sandstorm weather gradually disappeared. Everyone can see that the two Pokémon are still standing firmly on the stage. It's impossible. After enduring Giga Impact, Excadrill is fine. After seeing this scene, many people watching the battle expressed their surprise. With such a powerful destructive power, Excadrill can still stand. Just when this kind of people were very puzzled, Lee Chungkun suddenly laughed. Luo Ling, it's your carelessness this time. Unexpectedly, at the last second, I asked Excadrill to use its life-saving force. But your Salamence can't move now, I won. Ability to survive. This immediately made everyone present react. It turns out that at the last second when he was about to be hit, Excadrill used this magic trick called Endure. No matter how big the attack is, it can be guaranteed that Pokémon itself can maintain the lowest vital signs and continue to stand on the stage. This ability is indeed very strong. But there are advantages and disadvantages. After all, there is only the last vital sign left. If the opponent Pokémon can continue to attack at this time, it will undoubtedly lose. But the current situation seems to be more favorable for Lee Chungkun. After using a powerful move like Giga Impact, Rumbling Moon is now being backlashed by the move. Although his life is not in danger, he is temporarily unable to move. At this moment Qian Wang's, as long as Excadrill can defeat Rumbling Moon, Lori can only send the next Pokémon. Excadrill, what are you still doing? Rush over quickly and defeat the opponent. Anything will do, use Metal Claw. Lee Chungkun was a little anxious. After all, the Roaring Moon is not unable to move all the time, and if it continues to drag, it will be able to act. And it is not difficult to see from the reaction of Rumbling Moon at this time, it is doing its best to adapt to the current contest condition, and Dragon Claw is slowly trying to exert strength. I believe that it will be able to stand up again in a short time. Roaring Moon, hold on. The opponent cannot use the skill just now, as long as you persist for a while, you will win. Confront the Excadrill with its last vestiges of life in a straight line. As long as the Roaring Moon can move, even if it doesn't use moves, it can even knock the opponent down with a slap. So now, we can see whether Excadrill's vitality is more tenacious, or Rumbling Moon's adaptability is better. Seeing Excadrill gradually approaching Rumbling Moon, the atmosphere at the scene became tense. Excadrill looked at the Roaring Moon in front of him, slowly raised his hand, and was about to launch an attack at the last moment. The tail of the Roaring Moon was able to move. With a flick of the tail, the Excadrill was directly sent to the edge of the gymnasium. Excadrill, can't fight. Salamence wins. When the referee said this sentence, there was a hot cheer at the scene. Everyone is moving and cheering that Roaring Moon can persevere until the last moment. After all, the battle just now was really difficult for Ronco. Just kidding. Just the last bit. Isn't that okay? Lee Chungkun was dumbfounded. It's just the last second. As long as Excadrill's speed is faster, the victory will be yours. Unexpectedly, it is the last step. Still failed in the end. Chapter 85 Mega Steelix. 1 Wears 3. Lee Chungkun took the Excadrill back, and after losing 2 consecutive battles, he quietly looked at Salamence beside Luo Ling. That weird Salamence. It's all because of this strange Salamence that makes Luo Ling so crazy. Fortunately, Lee Chungkun did not give up. Through the observation of the previous 2 sentences, he already knew very well that that strange Salamence was an extreme physical attack player, using all physical attack moves. As long as you can block the opponent's physical attack, you can win. Coincidentally, Lee Chungkun has a Pokémon in his hand that can perfectly restrain physical attackers. Not only Lee Chungkun's last trump card, but also his Earl Dervish Pokémon. Come out, nightmare of a physical attacker. Steelix. The red light of the Pokeball flashed, and a huge Steelix with a height of 9 meters 2 and a height of 3 floors appeared on the dilapidated arena. It is unavoidable that after seeing the work that is responsible for repairing the arena, they will be afraid of 3 points. Can some smaller Pokémon be used? Why is one bigger than the other? This is totally disregarding my workload. As Lee Chungkun dispatched the last Pokémon, Luo Ling once again exerted the ability of the Data Eye. Open black lens bracket Steelix. Steel, ground, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket level, 57 close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket character. Brave close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket ability. Strong, immune to moves with one-hit kill moves, close black lens bracket. Individual value. HP 31, physical attack 31, special attack 31, physical defense 31, special defense 31, speed 31, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket skills. Earth Power, Flash Cannon, Euro Ball, Rock Polish, Earthquake, Sandstorm, Iron Tail, Self-Destruct, Double Edge, Close Black Lens Bracket. Open Black Lens Bracket Qualification. Champion Close Black Lens Bracket. Luo Ling originally thought that the quasi-god Tyranitar who appeared first was Lee Chungkun's strongest combat power. But I didn't expect to see another Steelix now. The level of this Steelix is not even higher than that of Bangela. Steelix is one of the strongest physical resistance among all Pokémon. Although other species' strength is relatively lower, the physical resistance has reached 200. Roaring Moon Piece is a Pokémon that specializes in physical attack. Just ask, how to do this? After seeing Lee Chungkun taking out the Steelix, other people watching the match couldn't help but sigh with emotion. It is well known that Steelix has high material resistance. Apparently, Lee Chungkun took out the Steelix just to deal with Luo Ling's Roaring Moon. 807 However, at this moment, Luo Ling noticed that there seemed to be a strangely colored stone hanging around Lee Chungkun's Steelix neck. Give full play to your strength. Steelix, Mega Evolution. When everyone was discussing how to type Luo Ling, Lee Chungkun took out the Anxious Evolution Stone in his pocket, and then this piece of cloth resonated with the Mega Evolution Stone on Steelix's neck. Well, under the gaze of everyone, Steelix was covered by the light of eager evolution, and the next second, Mega Steelix appeared on the competition stage. Luo Ling frowned slightly. Steelix after Mega Evolution, species strength has surpassed Quasi-God, and the already high physical resistance has been strengthened again. As a physical attacker, Rumbling Moon will become even more difficult to fight. After seeing the Mega Steelix, the teachers all felt that Luo Ling would definitely lose this battle. It's not that Luo Ling's strength is weak, it's just that Steelix is an attacking player, and Lee Chungkun is also the first person to use Mega Evolution among this year's freshmen. Among Luo Ling's current Pokémon, none of them can Mega Evolution. As we all know, the species strength of Mega Steelix is even a little bit higher than that of Normal's Quasi-God. Don't underestimate such a point, this is likely to be the key to victory. Moreover, after Mega Evolution, there is also the Blessing of Sand Power ability, which can enhance the power of Rock type, Steel type, and Ground type moves in sandstorm weather, and it will not be affected by sandstorm weather itself. If I guess correctly, Lee Chungkun will definitely let Mega Steelix continue to change the weather. Luo Ling's Roaring Moon wants to fight it, then you have to use Sunny Day again. That strange Roaring Moon seems to be able to increase its power under Sunny Day. Several teachers who were watching the game were talking about it. After the first 2 rounds of confrontation, they seem to have a better understanding of Luo Ling's Roaring Moon. Director Wang, what do you think of this battle? Several teachers did not forget to ask questions to Wang Xuans while discussing. Everyone knows that Wang Xuans is Luo Hongji's apprentice and fan. Now, Luo Hongji's son Luo Ling has encountered a big problem, and everyone wants to see what Wang Xuans will say. What do you think? I see with my eyes. Of course Wang Xuans knew that these people were teasing him, so he didn't respond angrily. Then, he looked firmly at the limits of the game. In fact, he himself is very clear that in this battle, Luo Ling has no advantage at all. Any physical attacker, when he meets Steelix, any advantage he has established before will disappear. It can only be said that this time, Luo Ling did meet rival who beat him. But from his heart, he naturally hoped that Luo Ling would win. The audience included everyone who was watching the game video. No one would think that Lee Chungkun, who had lost 2 consecutive rounds, would continue to lose in this round. Just as the teachers predicted. After the Mega Evolution, Steelix immediately used Sandstorm, constantly using its tail to tackle the broken playing field, blowing gust sand, and gradually forming a sandstorm on the field. The harsh environment that had finally stopped was staged again. The same drama also happened to Rumbling Moon. Under Luo Ling's command, Rumbling Moon flew into the air again, allowing the sun to bathe her body again, successfully activating ability, and her ability was enhanced. Facing such an anxious Steelix with extreme physical resistance, Luo Ling also had to take it seriously. Roaring Moon, use Dragon Dance. Luo Ling knows that even if Steelix is eager to evolve, its ability and speed has not been improved. It is still the same as before the evolution, and the speed of action is very fast, so speed is the only key to roaring and winning. The move of Dragon Dance cannot help but improve the attack ability, and at the same time increase the speed, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Want to fly? Ridiculous. Steelix, let the world see how huge your body is. Steelix of Mega Evolution jumped from a height of 9 meters to 1 meter. When it stood, it was almost as high as the ceiling of the gymnasium. With such an extreme height, unless there is no ceiling restriction, Rumbling Moon will indeed be at a disadvantage. Well, Mega Steelix let out a sneer, opened his mouth to use Fire Fang, twisted his body and approached Rumbling Moon. Under the pressure of her huge body, Rumbling Moon could only dodge around in the air non-stop. Inadvertently, with a flick of her tail, Mega Steelix directly sent Rumbling to the ground. Fortunately, Mega Steelix is very strong in defense, but slightly weaker in offense. Rumbling Moon struggled to get up from the ground, and sent out a burst of heart-piercing roar towards the huge Mega Steelix. Roaring Moon, use Zen Headbutt. Don't attack the opponent's head, attack from the tail. At the moment when Mega Steelix's tail flicked over again, Rumbling Moon concentrated his strength on his head, and his eyes glowed red, reconnected and pushed Mega Steelix's tail with his head. Now, use Shadow Claw. Rumbling Moon raised his right paw, and with a flash of Cal, the paw was filled with dark purple gaseous flames, and it directly inserted into the tail of Mega Steelix, successfully hitting the vital point of the opponent's lower body. Well, Mega Steelix endured the pain, relying on its super high defense power, abruptly received the blow. At this moment, Lee Chungkun noticed that Rumbling Moon's claws were still inlaid on the tail of Mega Steelix, so he hurriedly gave an order to Mega Steelix, hold on to the opponent's quang tightly. Then use the sand tomb and drag the opponent into it. Mega Steelix twisted its body, wrapped its tail tightly around Rumbling Moon's body, and summoned a large amount of quicksand not far ahead, and then dragged Rumbling Moon to the depths of the quicksand. Add fee. Naturally, Mega Steelix will not be trapped by his own moves. But once it touched these quicksands, Rumbling Moon's whole body was still entangled by Steelix's tail, and it was impossible to escape. It didn't take long before the Roaring Moon's body was covered by quicksand and disappeared from sight. Roaring Moon. Using the power of Yulong, Luo Ling felt that the rumbling moon was struggling in the quicksand at the moment, and it didn't give up, so he felt relieved. Since rumbling moon hasn't given up yet, he has no reason to admit defeat. Taking a deep breath calmly, after thinking for a while, Luo Ling yelled at the place where the quicksand sank, quickly used Draco Meteor and hit the quicksand. Hearing what Luo Ling said, it actually made Lee Chungkun, who was standing opposite him, smile. Your salamence has been dragged into the quicksand, how can you resist? Even if Draco Meteor is summoned, it's just a waste of energy. I advise you to recognize the reality early and stop making unnecessary resistance. Any Pokemon that is good at physical attacks is a piece of cake in front of my Steelix. Lee Chungkun has absolute confidence in his Steelix. Especially after Mega Evolution, it is completely the natural nemesis of physical attack players. At least so far, Steelix has never lost in the face of physical attack Pokemon. It is precisely because of this that Lee Chungkun has enough confidence. However, Luo Ling did not give any response to the other party. Instead, he saw Draco Meteor falling gradually and soaring in the sky, all of them hit the area where the quicksand was, and the corners of his mouth began to turn up slightly. In the next second, an unexpected scene happened. Rumbling Moon, who was already trapped in the quicksand, relied on the falling Draco Meteor stones, and unexpectedly used them as stepping stones, slowly escaped from the quicksand group, and soared into the sky again. Good job. A long-lost smile appeared on Luo Ling's face. Lee Chungkun never thought that the roaring moon that had been trapped in the quicksand could still escape, and he would not allow the roaring moon that was finally trapped to recover to the fighting condition. Steelix, use sharp stones. Well, Mega Steelix let out a deep roar, and suddenly controlled many sharp stones beside it, and rushed towards the roaring moon of fly in the air. Although Mega Steelix's attack is not high, after all, Rumbling Moon has fought 3 consecutive battles, and his physical strength is not small, so it is definitely the best to avoid the opponent's attack as much as possible. Show what you can soar through the skies. The opponent is formidable, but you have an absolute advantage in speed. Encouraged by Luo Ling, Rumbling Moon quickly flapped its wings and flew directly out of the top of the gymnasium, followed by sharp stones leaving the gymnasium. Boom! The Rumbling Moon kept flying to high places, and when it reached a certain critical value, those sharp stones were out of the control of Mega Steelix, and could only fall back to the ground again. Even though she couldn't hear Luoli's voice, Roaring Moon could still feel the command from the other party through the power of Yulong. In the next second, the U-turn immediately flew towards the direction of the gymnasium. In about 2 or 3 seconds, you can see the Roaring Moon again in the gymnasium. It is not difficult to see that Roaring Moon is going to go straight down and have a head-to-head with Mega Steelix. A smile appeared on the corner of Lee Chungkun's mouth. Dare to collide head-on with my Steelix, I think you are impatient. Steelix, after Salamence approaches you, use self-destruct directly. Self-destruct. This is a trick of the same end. If Mega Steelix really uses this trick, then even it itself will enter a near-death contest condition, unable to continue fighting. But Luo Ling can continue to play 2 Pokemon in addition to Rumbling Moon. Then this battle is undoubtedly Luo Ling's victory. Is Lee Chungkun really willing to give up winning this fight? That's impossible. The current dual resistance of Mega Steelix has reached the peak of the ultimate contest condition. Even if you use self-destruct, you can still let out the last breath, and then use dig to hide in the ground to delay time, and you can still recover part of your physical strength. Lee Chungkun naturally had such calculations in mind, so he used the trick of self-exposure with great fanfare. Fortunately, Luo Ling has already known all the moves that Steelix has learned through data volunteering, and the combination of moves has also been considered. Roaring Moon, continue to drive. Dodge the moment the opponent uses self-destruct, then sneak attack. The speed of Rumbling Moon itself is not low, forming a sharp contrast with Mega Steelix. At the moment when Mega Steelix's whole body emits white light, continuously spreading around, Rumbling Moon successfully avoided most of the explosive damage by relying on its speed advantage. Rumbling Moon tried his best, but was still partially injured. But it never forgot the command Luo Ling gave before. At the moment when the explosion ended, it saw Mega Steelix standing in place with difficulty, preparing for dig to go underground. Rumbling Moon launched a sneak attack and successfully hit the vitals of Mega Steelix. Well, Mega Steelix thought that he had already responded immediately, but he didn't expect that the speed was still much worse. At the last moment of the fall, a terrible growl came out. When the smoke and dust from the explosion dissipated, everyone could only see Roaring UFA hovering in the soaring in the sky, while the huge Mega Steelix on the ground returned to the pre-evolution contest condition, squinted and fell to the ground. Steelix, can't fight. Luo Ling wins. When the referee said this sentence, there was thunderous applause at the scene, and the reaction of the audience was very intense. Facing the nemesis of physical attackers, Steelix, known as the Wall of Size, Road Turner actually won. You know, the Steelix after Mega Evolution is almost unbeatable in terms of physical resistance. Among all Pokemon, Mega Steelix should have the strongest physical resistance. Even Pokemon with extreme physical attack should be feared 3 points. What's more, Salamence has not yet reached the ultimate physical attack. Chapter 86 The Best Keel, Fracture vs. Typhlosion. Student, the game is over. You can leave now. Seeing Lee Chungkun froze in place, the referee reminded him. Lee Chungkun sneered, he still doesn't know how he lost. But things have come to this point, even the last chance is gone, so I can only leave the stage of the competition. Looking at the very tired Roaring Moon, Luo Ling first fed the opponent an energy cube. Thank you for your hard work, booming ears. You performed very well in the 3 battles just now. Boom. Rumbling Moon let out a deep and soft cry, and Luo Ling stroked its feet to make the situation a little better, and then put it back into the Pokeball. Ling Shui also rushed over immediately. Congratulations, the Roaring Moon hit 1 and 3 just now, it's really handsome. However, the roar should be fine, right? Confronting Quasi-God, Desert God of War, and Object Conqueror one after another, it is not easy for Rumbling Moon to win consecutively. If Ling Shui knew that the 3 Pokemon used by rival were all higher levels than Rumbling Moon, she would be even more surprised. Don't worry, I've replenished my strength for Rumbling Moon, just rest more. Having won this battle and helped Ling Shui take revenge, Luo Ling was in a great mood. The two talked and laughed, and then left the gymnasium temporarily. The gymnasium was pretty much destroyed by the fighting just now and needs urgent repairs. As for the other students who have not yet started the battle, they can only be transferred to the next door venue first. Kunlun University's resources are so good, it is impossible for there to be only 1 or 2 battle venues. Not far away, Wang Xuans looked at Luo Ling with satisfaction and nodded. Luo Ling's performance just now is comparable to that of a professional player, and is no longer comparable to that of an ordinary college student. In the face of such a powerful rival, it is a rare quality to be so calm and calm. Luo Ling's battle was over, and it was confirmed that the opponent had successfully advanced, and Wang Xuan seemed to have no need to continue watching the battle. In the blink of an eye, he had disappeared from the viewing platform. Rest area. The entire game was televised. The freshmen resting here admired the match just now. Luo Ling deserves to be the number 1 in the field survival test, it's amazing. That Lee Chungkun just now is not bad, he is also quasi-spirited. I still like the last Steelix, Mega Evolution is so cool. The freshmen talked a lot, and everyone had a deep memory of the game just now. Ying Kair, Xiaoyan and Li Lizzie were also watching the battle between Lee Chungkun and Luo Ling all the time. Winner, who also uses Dragon Pokemon, was extremely shocked by Luo Ling's performance just now. The situation of the battle just now was very unfavorable to Luo Ling. Even winning Kair felt that this kind of game must be lost, but Luo Ling turned the tables and won. For a while, Win Kair became even more curious about Luo Ling. When Lee Chungkun, who finished the competition, returned to the lounge and appeared in front of Lin Kair and the others, he smiled awkwardly. Of course he knew that the battle between himself and Lorraine just now must have been seen by everyone, and the result was also obvious. But because of his face, he could only smile awkwardly. Then Luo Ling does have 2 brushes, so I was careless just now. Next time I will definitely not underestimate the enemy, and then I will not let him go so easily. Everyone has already found an excuse, but such a reason does not seem to be able to convince other people present. The scene was completely silent, and the scene seemed awkward for a while. This also made Ying Kair and Li Lizzie hate Lee Chungkun even more. If you lose, there is no need to find so many excuses. At this moment, Luo Ling followed Ling Shui to the lounge, ready to buy something to drink. Just now when he came in, he saw what the defeated Lee Chungkun and the other 3 people were talking about. I didn't expect to meet you here. I fought very hard in that battle just now, you are very strong. So strong it almost made me use a second Pokemon. Luo Ling said seriously. Obviously, he came here on purpose to help Ling Shui vent her anger. And what he just said didn't sound like a compliment to Lee Chungkun, but more like a mockery. So that Li Lizzie, who was sitting, couldn't help laughing after hearing this. Without giving Lee Chungkun any chance to fight back, Luo Ling took Ling Shui to buy coffee. After the second round of 3v3 individual knockout matches, Luo Ling successfully advanced to the main stage of the competition. Although Ling Shui stopped in the first stage, she felt a little regretful, but she was also happy for Luo Ling to advance. The two had a meal together and took a good rest. There is still the last stage of the game left. In the previous battle, Roaring Moon contributed a lot and suffered so many injuries, Luo Ling decided to let him rest well. What Lori didn't expect was that Kunlun University is indeed full of talents. Someone's Pokemon is over level 50, even taller than the Rumbling Moon. This is indeed somewhat unexpected. If you count those hermit families, I am afraid their strength will be even stronger. In order to be able to continue to win in the next game, it seems that some changes have to be made. Open the backpack and take out Last Resort's long-standing top-quality Dragon Skull and top-quality Dragon Fang. These are all the top-quality secret treasures that Luo Ling currently has. The action of taking out the top-quality Dragon Skull and the top-quality Dragon Fang was quickly noticed by the students next to him. This is the ultimate Dragon Skull and Dragon Fang. Luo Ling just took it out in front of everyone like this. Would this be a little sloppy? However, everyone is aware of Luo Ling's identity, he is the son of the current Dragon Elite, so they can't help but sigh with emotion. Could this be the wealth of the sons of the elite? This kind of superb breeder prop comes out without any hesitation. Have you ever considered the feelings of other ordinary-born classmates? Hidden hint. The host has detected the breeder demand for Dragon Pokemon, and has customized a new breeder plan for you. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket option 1 economy connect Dragon Skull and Dragon Fang together to make a necklace or other accessories and wear them on Dragon-type Pokemon, so that its power will gradually merge with Pokemon, and the absorption speed will be slower. Close black lens bracket. Scheme 2 Compromise type. Mash the heads of Dragon Fang and Dragon Skull, mix them with Pataya Berry to form a concentrated soup, and feed them to Dragon Pokemon, which can quickly absorb the energy of dragons. Close Black Lens Bracket. Scheme 3 Shenhao type. Combine the ultimate Dragon Skull and Dragon Fang through Yulong power to catalyze fusion, mix with Pokemon Candy and Rare Candy into powder, let Pokemon absorb it, and greatly improve Pokemon's ability. Close Black Lens Bracket. The system's breeder program arrived just in time. Luo Ling chose the last option without hesitation. After giving Fracture all the top-quality Dragon Skull and top-quality Dragon Fang, Fracture looked very cheerful, and after absorbing 2 pieces of bone secret, it can be clearly seen that the teeth of the dorsal toothed dragon became sharper than before. Axew. Fracture felt a force overflowing from his whole body, and Luo Ling also felt the changes in Fracture's body by using the power of Yulong. So, quickly use the Eye of Data to check. Open Black Lens Bracket Fracture. Dragon, Black, Flash, Close Black Lens Bracket. Open Black Lens Bracket Level, 47 Close Black Lens Bracket. Open Black Lens Bracket Character, Stubborn Close Black Lens Bracket. First ability. Breakthrough. With the determination to break the rules, you can ignore the opponent's ability when attacking. Second ability. Struggle. When rival is the same gender as your own, the power of the move will increase by 25%. If the gender is different, the power will decrease by 25%. As long as one of the two parties is of unknown gender, the power of the move will remain the same. Individual value. HP 31, Physical Attack 31, Special Attack 31, Physical Defense 31, Special Defense 31, Speed 31, Close Black Lens Bracket. Skills. Bite, Dragon Claw, Dig, Dragon Dance, Slash, Double Slash, Scary Face. Open Black Lens Bracket Qualification. Master Level Close Black Lens Bracket. Hidden Hint. Possesses a sense of justice that is almost paranoid, helps the needy, and although he is not strong, he will stand up for the weak. Close Black Lens Bracket. Luo Ling was delighted. It seemed that the top-quality Dragon Skull and Dragon Fang were not wasted. After Fracture absorbed the power of these two extreme secret treasures, his level directly rose to level 47. Even taller than the two predecessors. The further you go, the more difficult it is to upgrade Pokemon. Being able to increase the level by 5 at once made Luo Ling feel that it would not be a loss even if he took out a secret treasure for Fracture to use. Of course, it can no longer be the best level. While Luo Ling was busy strengthening Breeder on Fracture, the second stage of the competition was still in full swing. Except for Lee Chungkun, Ying Keier, Li Lizzie and Xiao Yan stepped onto the stage of the competition one after another, and they all won and successfully advanced. Only Lee Chungkun is an exception. This made him, who was making excuses, suddenly become speechless. Until the end of the last battle of the second stage, a total of 8 people successfully advanced to the third stage. Among them, Luo Ling, Li Lizzie, Yuan Keier, Xiao Yan and others were included. When Luo Ling saw the final promotion list, Luo Ling couldn't help frowning. He discovered that Ying Keier was actually one of the 3 people who stayed with Lee Chungkun before. According to what my father said, the descendants of the winners of the hidden family will definitely be admitted to Kunlun University in advance. And among all the freshmen on the scene, the one who can go to the end to win the lottery is very likely to be the descendant of the winner of the dragon. And before Lee Chungkun stayed with them again, could it be that those 4 people are all descendants of the hidden family? Not without this possibility. Luo Hongji said that the hidden family is not only the winner of the dragon, but also other families. It's just that when we called at that time, we didn't elaborate. 0. Asking for flowers. It seems that we really need to pay more attention to these 4 people in the future. Next, please prepare for the players participating in the quarterfinals. The game starts now. With the sound of the live broadcast, it also means that the third stage of the game is about to start. In the final stage, all players must play with full configuration. If the number of Pokemon you have is less than 6, you need to fight all of them. This is indeed a very big challenge for freshmen who have just entered school. Many people only have 3 Pokemon in their hands when they first enter school. But Luo Ling's information has been announced before, he has 4. Fortunately, they are all dragons. Come out, Florges. As the first person to advance, Luo Ling met an opponent who used fairy-type Pokemon at the beginning. Obviously, the opponent knew about Luo Ling and did research before the match started. However, the Florges in the opponent's hand is only level 40. Although the level is considered very high among ordinary people, but in front of the children of aristocratic families, this level is indeed a little lower. If it's just to deal with the player in front of him, Luo Ling doesn't need to rule out his strongest Pokemon. Therefore, he sent Doran Messiah to fight. Although Duolong Mei's current level is only in his early 40s, with his rich combat experience, even if he is restrained by attribute, he can easily pass the level and successfully defeat Florges. As for the Pokemon sent after Rival, there is no Pokemon that can restrain the existence of Dragon Pokemon. In less than half an hour, Doran Messiah directly penetrated all the Pokemon in Rival and won this battle. 0. When Luo Ling was fighting, he also noticed that Li Lizzie and Ying Keier were fighting on another stage next to him. The civil war between the two of them was a bit unexpected. Ying Keier actually used a Kamo-O to directly defeat Li Lizzie's 3 Pokemon. This also made Luo Ling very sure that Ying Keier must be the back of the dragon winner. What she uses is also a dragon Pokemon. According to the current situation of the battle table, if you want to play against Ying Keier, you must meet in the battle. It seems that if you want to find out the true identity of Yingkai and see if her remaining Pokémon are also dragons, you can only continue to win. The rival of the next match is Xiao Yan. Don't worry, Brother Lee, I will retaliate for you. That Luo Ling is really hateful, he dared to look down on you, I won't let him go. When he knew that his rival was Luo Ling, Xiao Yan immediately came to Lee Chungkun and spoke to him in a flattering tone. Brother Lee, if I can retaliate for you this time, can you help me speak well in front of your cousin? It's best if you can help me match up, and our relationship will go further in the future. Lee Chungkun on the side didn't want to look at Xiao Yan, but looked at Luo Ling's profile picture on the match information row, and gritted his teeth. Don't worry, as long as you can win him, all this will not be a problem. It's best to beat him down on the field to dispel his arrogance. Lee Chungkun was still brooding about the previous events, he never thought that after the game, he would be ridiculed by Luo Ling like that. This made him lose face in front of Yingkai. From now on, how will you hold your head up in front of Yingkai? So if Xiao Yan wanted him to speak well in front of Li Lizzie, he had to defeat Luo Ling. It would be best to beat him to the point of being skeptical of life, and not dare to continue making mistakes in this school. Being able to quit school is of course the best. Lee Chungkun didn't want to always meet Luo Ling in school. Brother Lee, don't worry, I will use my fire element Pokemon to blow up that wrong Ling. I want him to know who is the boss in this school. The two looked at each other with sly smiles. Afterwards, Xiao Yi came to Biju stage. Luo Ling followed closely behind. Please send Pokemon to fight. As soon as the referee finished speaking, Heian was the first to throw the Pokeball. Come out, Typhlosion. With a flash of red light, one of Fire type's 3 royal families appeared in front of everyone. Luo Ling Alliance uses the data eye to check the information of this fiery beast. Open black lens bracket Typhlosion. Fire close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket level, 54 close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket character. Naive close black lens bracket. First ability. Fierce fire, when injured, the power of fire moves increases. Second ability. Flash fire, immune to the effects of all fire moves. Individual values. HP 31, physical attack 31, special attack 30, physical defense 31, special defense 31, speed 31, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket skills. Double edge, flame wheel, eruption, swift, flame charge, lava plume, flamethrower, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket qualification. Champion close black lens bracket chapter 87 Mega Charizard Y debuts, Fracture evolves. Typhlosion, change the weather. Xiao Yan doesn't care whether Luo Ling sent Pokemon, anyway, under sunny day, it is beneficial to his Pokemon. Typhlosion stood up and let out a long roar towards soaring in the sky, the sunlight passing through the roof became more violent than before. Xiao Yan looked at Luo Ling who was in a daze, and thought he was stunned. What, scared by my Typhlosion? Weren't you kind of a power trip before? Luo Ling snorted coldly, and was about to send Rumbling Moon to play. After all, the game scene has become sunny day, which is just right for the ability of the Rumbling Moon. But at this moment, Fracture's Pokeball on his waist suddenly moved, and it was Fracture who expressed that he wanted to take the initiative to play. Recalling that Roaring Moon was indeed injured before and had not fully recovered, he finally decided to send Fracture. Since you want to fight so much, then use your full strength. While speaking, Luo Ling had already thrown the Pokeball. Bump. After a burst of red light, Fracture appeared on the field. Axew. Facing Typhlosion with a higher level, Fracture showed no fear at all, and stared at Typhlosion with a fierce expression. It seems to be telling the other party that he will be the one who wins this battle. As if feeling the taunt from Fracture, Typhlosion looked at Fracture with piercing eyes, the flame at the back of his neck was burning more vigorously, and his fighting spirit was high. Let's have an opening show. Use the fire spin. With the sound of Typhlosion roar, the flames on the back of the neck spread all over the body in an instant. Then, the whole body curled up and circled Fracture directly on the field, but wherever it passed, there would be a lot of burning flames, almost cover the entire field. In the environment of sunny day, the moves of the fire department will be improved by 813. The surrounding flames burned more and more intensely. Fracture, who was surrounded by it, looked around and found no gap to leave the encirclement, but the surrounding temperature was still rising, which made Fracture a little nervous. Fire spin will stay on the field for a period of time. During this period, who will continue to heat up and affect Fracture. Seeing that Fracture was trapped, Xiao Yan showed a smug smile. Don't give rival a break, use swift. Immediately, Typhlosion's eyes glowed, and a large number of stars spewed out through the flames, approaching Fracture. Bump, bump, bump. Fracture was hit by many stars that popped up. Fortunately, the power of this move was not very strong, but it was fast and difficult to dodge. But in the next second, Typhlosion suddenly appeared in the flame-burning circle. With the ability of Flash Fire, he was not afraid of being burned by the flame at all. It may be that the temperature has risen, so Fracture can't help but sweat. Because it is a good time, the axe tooth is hot and dizzy, take advantage of the victory and pursue it, use the flame forehead. A large amount of flame suddenly burst out from Typhlosion's mouth, which was much more violent than the same move that Luo Ling encountered before, which was caused by the environment of sunny day at this time. However, Luo Ling was waiting for this moment. Great chance, Fracture, dig around and attack with Dragon Claw. It wasn't until this time that everyone saw clearly that Fracture was at the focus energy stockpile just now, enduring the high temperature of the flames, waiting for Typhlosion to take the initiative to approach, and at the same time making it easier for the next attack to hit the enemy's vitals. Fracture quickly dug a hole and got in. When Typhlosion's teeth were covered in flames, he couldn't find a target to attack. Typhlosion stood on the spot and looked around. After a while, Fracture jumped out from the ground and came behind Typhlosion. He raised the sharp dragon claw and cut a hole in Typhlosion's back. Fracture's sharp claws, because they absorb the dragon power contained in the top secret treasure not long ago, become sharper than before, and the damage they cause will be higher. Typhlosion, don't get hit in vain, use the flames on the back of your neck to use flamethrower. As soon as these words came out, even Luo Ling didn't react. Fracture standing behind Typhlosion directly took the flamethrower's attack from the front. Normally, a move like flamethrower is sprayed from the mouth, but it never expected that this Typhlosion could actually use this form to use this move, which is indeed a bit unexpected. Back quickly, Luo Ling shouted, but it was too late. Fracture took the flamethrower's damage completely, and it quickly stepped back, grinding away the remaining flames with its hands. However, because the distance was too close when the injury was suffered before, the skin on the face and front received burns, which was extremely painful. Axe you! Fracture yelled at Typhlosion, as if he was questioning the other party. Don't they know the truth of not slapping the face when fighting? Do you know how important the face is when walking in this world? However, Typhlosion showed an attitude of indifference. You can scold as you please, and I will lose if you listen. Regardless, neither Pokemon has the upper hand so far. Typhlosion, Lava Plume in the audience, raised the temperature again. The moment he heard Xiao Yan's order, Typhlosion stood up completely, and the flames spread from the back of his neck to his whole body, and at the same time, he released extremely high temperature smoke, which covered the entire audience in a short time. From the looks of it, Xiao Yan's Typhlosion is a Pokemon that is good at attacking in groups. The moves used from the very beginning to the present have no particular directionality. Moreover, the surrounding temperature is getting higher and higher, and the burn effect will become more and more severe. This is the difference between reality and games. In the game, the Pokemon affected by the burn effect will continue to receive burn damage. In reality, the effect of the burn will also change due to changes in the temperature of the Pokemon's environment. The higher the temperature, the stronger the burn effect. On the contrary, when the temperature drops, the burn effect becomes weaker, and even after the low temperature is withstood, the burn effect will disappear. It's a pity that Luo Ling's Fracture doesn't use any water-based moves yet. However, it can lower the surrounding temperature. Fracture, summon Draco Meteor, smash into the surrounding flames. Axe you! Fracture let out a roar in the air, and then, a large number of stones fell towards the ground like meteors. Although Fracture is not good at special attacks, these stones are not for damage. Boom! As the stones kept falling, a large amount of smoke and dust formed on the field. These smoke and dust were the best way to extinguish the flames. When Typhlosion created the lava plume effect, it would inevitably inhale and accidentally inhale dust, causing it to quickly cover its mouth and nose and cough non-stop. It's all right. Typhlosion's use of flamethrower from behind was unexpected, and Fracture summoned Draco Meteor to extinguish the fire, which also surprised Xiao Yan. In that case, use the flame wheel. I want to see how you resolve it. Xiao Yan glared at Luo Ling. Just now Luo Ling had broken his formula for winning, so he could only use another way to win. Typhlosion curled his body into a ball, and the flames batted his whole body, burning more and more intensely. With the rapid spin of his body like a wheel, he rushed straight towards Fracture. Xiao Yan originally wanted to see how Luo Ling would respond, but what he didn't expect was that Luo Ling didn't seem to intend to let the axe open the dragon to dodge. Fracture, catch each other with both hands. As soon as the words fell, Luo Ling released the power of Yulong. Since the opponent has an advantage in the weather environment, Fracture cannot be worse than the enemy. The blessing of the power of the dragon is not inferior to the blessing of the weather environment. Seeing that Typhlosion was about to charge, Fracture let out a deep roar, opened his hands, stepped on the floor, and caught Typhlosion's spinning body with piercing eyes. As Typhlosion's whole body was burning, Typhlosion's hands were also burned by flames. Axe you! Fracture gritted his teeth and persevered, and his unwillingness to admit defeat instantly infected the audience. At the same time, he also successfully activated Fracture's second ability to purify his heart. When fighting against Pokemon of the same gender, the power of moves will be enhanced. And Luo Ling, waiting for this moment. The time has come. Fracture, hold on to the facade, resist the opponent's attack and fight back. Axe you! Fracture is full of power at this moment, and it is still in the burning contest condition. Therefore, when using facade, the damage caused by the final counterattack will be multiplied. Since Fracture was burned, Luo Ling thought about how to remove the status condition as quickly as possible, otherwise it would continue, which would be very detrimental to Fracture. Although Draco Meteor was used to successfully extinguish the fire, after all Fracture does not know water or ice moves, so it is impossible to remove the burning contest condition no matter what. Since this is the case, it is better to do the opposite, thinking about how to use the burning effect, so I want to use the facade. In order to maximize the damage, it is necessary to stimulate the fighting ability first. Only then did the present scene occur. Typhlosion's body can't last forever, the friction formed by Fracture's hands makes it finish spinning faster. At this moment, Typhlosion's attack also stopped. At this moment, Fracture finally waited for the time to fight back. The attack that Facade resisted before turned into strength at this moment, holding Typhlosion with both hands and smashing it to the ground. The power of Yulong plus the ability of Fighting Heart, plus the multiplied damage of Hard. All superimposed together, Typhlosion bears the full amount, and is almost about to enter the dying contest condition. Typhlosion, hold on. Come back quickly. Typhlosion dragged his heavy body, and the flames on his body were much weaker than before. Fracture's situation is also not good. After all, he also suffered the enemy's attack in full just now, and not only his face and front body were burned, but his hands were also burned. Luo Ling looked at Fracture's contest condition, which was not very good, and frowned slightly. I didn't expect that the opponent actually had 2 brushes, and the level of Typhlosion was indeed higher than that of Fracture. Fracture was able to make Typhlosion what it is today, which is really amazing. Can you still hold on? Axu. Fracture's desire to defeat rival has never changed. At the beginning, it showed a strong desire to fight. If it failed to bring victory to Luo Ling, it would be ashamed. When I go back, I will be ridiculed by my sisters. Thinking of this, Fracture endured the pain and became energetic again. No matter what, you must not be ridiculed by the sisters. Very good. Since we can persevere, let's give rival one final blow. Fracture, rush over and use Dragon Claw. At this time, it was not easy for Typhlosion to stand up after suffering double damage. Where is the ability to avoid fractures? Attack, bump. Typhlosion fell to the ground as the Dragon Claw managed to hit Typhlosion, forming a triple tear on its chest. Looking at the dying Typhlosion, Fracture finally showed a long-lost smile. It's just that in the process of laughing, I still can't help closing the left half of the eye, and its face, chest and hands have received different degrees of burning, among them, the burning of the face. Most serious. After all, he was directly facing the flamethrower who took over Typhlosion, and it hurts to think about it. However, Luo Ling also had to admire this Typhlosion, who was able to use flamethrower from such a novel angle, and it should have been in contact for a long time, mainly for the enemy. Don't hesitate to miss it. Your Typhlosion breeders is great. Luo Ling has some approval. But such praise, to Xiao Yan, is more like a kind of taunt. No need to be hypocritical here. Don't be too happy, our game is not over yet. While speaking, Xiao Yan had already taken Typhlosion back to Pokeball King. Then, another ball was taken out from his waist. Come out, Charizard. Luo Ling immediately put Fracture back in position. Unexpectedly, it turned out to be another Usangia. The Pokemon of Usangia has never been too bad. After all, it makes sense to be selected as Usangia. At this moment, Luo Ling is still guessing that all the Pokemon that Xiao Yan uses are from Usangia, right? However, let Luo Ling confirm that Xiao Yan should have the same name as him, and the aristocratic family he belongs to should be the Fire family. The previous Lee Chungkun should be a descendant of the Ground or Rock family. There is also Lee Lizzie. Judging from the name and the situation of the previous battle, she should be with Lee Chungkun, and I am afraid that the two are still related by blood. But in any case, what Luo Ling cares about the most, of course, 2.8 is winning the lottery. Now, let's take a look at the data of this Charizard first. Open black lens bracket Charizard. Fire flying, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket level, 55 close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket character, bold close black lens bracket. First ability, Fierce Fire. When injured, the power of fire moves increases. Second ability, Power of the Sun. Special attack will be increased in sunny day and sunny weather, but will continue to lose vitality. Individual value. HP 31, physical attack 31, special attack 31, physical defense 31, special defense 31, speed 31. Open black lens bracket skills. Air Slash, Heat Wave, Dragon Breath, Dragon Claw, Inferno, Air Cutter, Flamethrower, Sunny Day, Sword Dance, Hurricane, Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket qualification. Champion close black lens bracket. Another dual ability. Charizard of level 55, the level of this Typhlosion is still higher. Be careful, rival is strong. Not long after Luo Ling finished speaking, Xiao Yan took out the Mega Evolution Stone from his bosom with a serious expression. Charizard, Mega Evolution. The stone on Charizard's neck echoed the stone in Xiao Yan's hand. The flame of the Evolution Stone flashed, and in the next second, Charizard's body changed. Fight, Mega Charizard Y. The moment Mega Charizard Y appeared on the stage, there was an extra sunshine ability, which immediately turned the surrounding battle environment into a sunny day. It seems that these people with hidden aristocratic families are really difficult to deal with. They have just entered school, so all kinds of Mega Evolution, Love Evolution stones are free of money. Just when Luo Ling was thinking about how to fight in the future. Axu. A burst of light suddenly enveloped Fracture. It is the light of evolution. Fracture was excited by the appearance of Mega Charizard Y, and actually evolved.